button. Let's get this going. All right, y'all. My name is Jay Franklin, Associate Director of New Student Family Programs. I'm a product of this university. I was just like you, a transfer student. I didn't return back to college until I was starting to see the number 3030. I did the traditional route of like high school and then immediately to community college. And as you can tell by my perfect eyebrows and amazing hair, my senior year, I actually went to beauty school and wasn't a dropout. No beauty school dropout here. So I did my first semester at community college. It was amazing, rock star. My second semester, was just traveling around doing a lot of hair, and I thought if I didn't go to college, if I didn't show up, that the university would draw me. No, they don't. I got a whole bunch of WUs in my second semester, and I didn't go back to college until a full 10 years later. And at that time, I learned at City College because as a non-traditional student, I started connecting with the faculty and staff and support systems that I found out that I could go back to Tidewater Community College back in Virginia Beach and petition for an academic renewal. I don't know if it works for all colleges, but I learned of a secret hack. I like to call them college cheat codes. So I learned a cheat code of going back to Tidewater Community College and basically saying, I'm a new adult, I'm a new person, I'm in it to win it. I started college and I want to finish and get my undergrad. So that's a little bit about me. I got my undergrad in human development here at Cal State San Marcos, and then I got my master's of education because I didn't want to leave this university, and I did for a little bit. I worked in industry and then got recruited to come back, and I've been a professional staff here since 2009. All right, so you're not here to hear for me, you're here to learn about Cal State San Marcos and the wonderful resources that we have here. I got to stay on point because I have a guest speaker coming in to do a transfer success presentation. So let's move this along. So welcome to CSUSM. You're going to learn a lot of information today, and I want to apologize. Some of the emails that like you got the go-to orientation email and you're like, oh, I've completed the online orientation. Yes, today is an online orientation, but today is considered what we call part one of orientation. So this is part one, and then part two is literally called go-to orientation. And that is a series of online modules to give you additional information because a lot of these state and federal mandates that we're required to give you, we can't put it in one presentation, or we can't possibly do it in an all-day in-person orientation because literally it would be all day and you would all hate us. So we've broken it up into part one and part two. So thank you all for completing the go-to orientation for those that did. And don't worry if you haven't, there's going to be plenty of opportunity for you to complete it before the January 20th deadline. Here's a schedule of today. The next presentation is going to go over the transfer success. After that, we'll have the Career Center. As you all know, you're not here for just your degree. You're here to check that box that you've completed your bachelor's degree and going to enter that working environment, industry, and the Career Center will be able to assist you. You're here from wellness, about wellness, here from the Dean of Students office. There'll be college breakout sessions with all four colleges. And then you'll also get the opportunity to meet with your academic advisors for your specific major and your area. And then at the close of the day at 11:30 to 12, we're going to have breakout sessions. Those breakout sessions will be these ones on your screen. You'll see this slide a couple times, but we just wanted to let you know from 11:30 to 12, you're going to hear from these folks. So if you have individual specific questions and you want to dive deeper and you really don't want to ask out your question to all of us, by all means, between 11:30 and 12, you have the opportunity to meet with these folks. There'll be separate breakout rooms, so you could pop in and pop out of those breakout rooms to get the questions, to get the answers for the questions that you might have. This is our wonderful O team, the orientation team. We literally can't do the work of orientation. We have our professional staff is a mighty team of three, yes, three. So please bear with us. That we can't do this work without the wonderful support of our students. So these are students at Cal State San Marcos, our orientation team, we affectionately call O team. I certainly call them O team all the time because orientation team, say it too many times, is a tongue twister. So they're here to assist you for any of your questions. They should be hitting you up right now, actually just checking you in. If you have a unique name for which you signed in, like J. Franklin iPhone or JF 1974, your O-teamer should be contacting you for your full name and student ID number so that we can get you properly checked in.
Jay, can you pause real quick?
Yes,
We
ma'am.
we cannot see your slides. If you're able to pull those up for folks.
What is going on?
And then when you turn it over to Matt, you'll just need to make him a co-host so that he can
Yep.
speak when it's his turn, and then you're all set.
OMG. You all didn't see any of the cool stuff. So I'll go back one. Oh, these are breakout sessions. This is the important stuff that comes at 11:30 to 12. So you'll see the slide again. Apologize for the slides not being shown. I thought I hit shared, but now you all have access and can see my screen. Okay, these are O-teamers. I already did that. Sorry. This definitely would have triggered you all to say, I can't see your screen. So on your screen uh, is our family program. So we're new student family programs. We literally, I've said it before, we have O-teamers to assist us. And we also have family ambassadors. So we send out a monthly newsletter and there is a webinar series for families and support systems to help assist you on your journey. So if you know of any, if your friends or family or support system want to participate, by all means, they can do that by scanning. You scan the QR code and then share that link with them to join. There's tons of virtual tools available. So just know that we're a Microsoft campus. And if you have used Microsoft Teams in the past for your other campus or your professional job, just know that you'll want to sign out of that and then sign back into Teams using your CSUSM credentials. Just like everyone on this in our group, all students, we have social media. So if you want to follow us, we will certainly share other resources on campus when they share with us, and we'll also post individual stuff. So you all are aware there'll be a transfer reception that will be held on the first day of class. So on January 20th from 12 to 12:45, you'll see a post on our social media of that particular event. And you should have also received an email. Here is the teams that I mentioned. So you'll want to make sure that you have signed out. We can't reiterate this enough because a lot of students have expressed their frustration that they can't access the campus Teams, and it's because they work in an environment that already has Teams. So just log out of Teams, log back in using your My CSUSM credentials and your CSUSM password. And this on the right-hand side of the screen will show the spot where you can do chat, you can share files, but you're going to be in your own specific Teams channel called Spring 2026 New Transfer Student. This is our CSUSM app, so just make sure you have downloaded the CSUSM app onto your phone. That is where your campus ID will be held. So make sure you've downloaded the CSUSM app before your first day of class, because you'll want to set up your ID. This is a digital ID. More importantly, there's a spot that we've highlighted for emergency contact. It really is distressing when you encounter an emergency and we don't have anyone to contact. So please make sure that this information has been filled out so that if an emergency arises, we have that contact information to reach out to. This is for Student Health and Counseling Services. The link right there, the QR code, will help you find Student Health and Counseling Services so you can submit your required immunizations, MMR, and Hep B. This is a lovely path and it says Spring 2026 edition. it might look all pretty and because we made it look all pretty, it might look like we own all these different offices, but we certainly do not. So just be mindful of all the deadlines and requirements of you so that you can stay on top of your game. A lot of these offices can put holds and to-dos onto your student account. So just stay ahead of them and ensure that at the end of the semester, because you've checked into your My CSUSM student portal at least twice in the semester, you don't encounter a hold or a to-do. There are some offices that will have a hold or to-do item that will take a couple weeks to clear, and we would hate for you to discover that hold or to-do item when it's time for you to register for class. Because if you have a hold or to-do during that time, you will not be able to register for class. Of course, we have a KugaBot, so make sure that if your family member or support system also is receiving KugaBot messages, thank them, but switch that back to you because there are timely messages that are sent specifically to you as a student. So we want to make sure that the KugaBot appropriately contacts you during those times. Go to orientation, I already mentioned. This today is part one. Part two is go to orientation. It's a series of modules of required materials. So just make sure you review it, complete it. You have until next week to complete it. Thank you to those that have already completed it. We have weeks of welcome. As mentioned, there's a transfer reception on the first day of class from 12 to 12:20, 12 to 12:45. I said 20 because it's on January 20th. So just be aware that you're invited to the transfer reception. We'll go in depth on the transfer success track during the transfer reception. There'll be some small snacks and some food, and you'll also get to meet with some cool O-teamers who are also transfer students. Is Matt in the room? Let me find Matt and turn this over to Matt so he can do his presentation. Almost there, Matt. I see you. Co-host.
Good morning, everybody. Let me
Good
see.
morning.
I'm just going to share my screen. Earlier
Oh,
when I was sharing my screen, it was like, oh wait,
yeah, let me unshare mine.
it was taking over my screen, so I couldn't see chat. So maybe if you could help, you or Christiana could help me out if you see a question or
Okay. We also have
uh,
O-teamers on here. You should be able to share your screen now. I've unshared mine.
yeah.
That's you. We can see it.
Oh, there you go. Uh,
Matt, we're seeing presenter view though, if you wanted to shift.
oh, let me switch. How about that?
That's great.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, my name is Matt Atherton. I'm a professor in social sciences. I'm also a former transfer student, so yeah, I know what it feels like to be in your shoes at orientation at 8 in the morning. Um, I'm sure there's some, I remember feeling excitement. Uh, Also, I'm sure you're groaning a little because it's early and some of I think everyone here does a great job, but some of this information, like they're required to tell you, so it can only be so exciting. And also you might feel a little overwhelmed today because there's going to be sort of so much information. But like I said, I was a former transfer student. I know, yeah, I know how you feel. Like I said, I'm a professor in social sciences. Um, I'll tell you a little about myself in a second because I think it'll be relevant. But I think we need to check in here. Um, let's see. How's everyone feeling today? Go ahead and put your number in on the scale of dog. How are you feeling? I'm getting, I'm not quite at four. I'm between a four and a five. I'd say I'm a 4.5. I started at a five. I'm moving to a four. Um, so yeah. So like I said, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and it's not to sort of like, yeah, to be vain or whatever. But yeah, I'm local. I grew up in Escondido. I went to San Pasqual High School. my high school GPA was two. You're waiting for more numbers. There aren't more numbers. My high school GPA was two. I would love to tell you that I had dreams of being a college professor and I ran to college, eager. That's not the case. I want to be honest with you. Like, I was living with my grandma at the time, and she gave me sort of two choices, which was like get a full-time job, or three choices, I guess. Get a full-time job, go to college, or move out. And of those three options, college sounded like the best option. So again, I'm being completely honest with you all. I sort of went to college to not be kicked out of my house. But once I got to college, I had this sort of realization, and maybe you all had this, or maybe you already knew this, and you're going to roll your eyes at me. But like once I got to college, I was like, I don't have to be here, and I'm paying for it. So I was like, well, I kind of only have two choices. I either need to drop out or or like get the most out of it. And so that's sort of what I decided to do. And it's not like all of a sudden the next semester he got all A's. I had to work at it. But eventually I did sort of fall in love with college and in, not everything, but um, I did sort of begin to like it. And then I ended up transferring to UCSD I went to Palomar College, transferred to UCSD, ended up getting my master's and eventually my PhD. The reason I tell you that story is not just to tell you about myself, but I think it is, and some of you may have already found this, and some of you are still searching for it, is sort of finding out that reason why you're in college. And it has to be for you. Like it has to be a reason for you. It can't be for your parents or some of it is to get a job, but it can't be for external reasons. It has to mean sort of something to you. And we'll get back to that. And some of you have already discovered this. And like I said, maybe you're rolling your eyes. But some of you maybe haven't gotten it yet, haven't found that thing yet. And if you haven't found it yet, um, don't feel bad. Like you still have time to find that thing. So yeah. So why am I here today? So we're going to talk about transfer student success. So myself and my colleague Ali Carr, who can be here today, we've been working with transfer students, I don't know, over a decade, for years and years on different programs to help them. And along those lines, we've sort of gathered data about what transfer students have told us where they've struggled a bit. And so I'm gonna kind of highlight the places where transfer students say they've struggled, and then I want to offer you sort of solutions, big solutions and small solutions. So hopefully, once I'm done, at least you'll be like, oh, like he's at least given me some sort of like things, like actionable things I can go do, um, while he was yammering on. So the first thing, um, that, sorry, there we go. The first thing that students have told us that they've struggled with is that, and I'm sure you know this, that sort of going from community college to a four-year college, there's going to be a little bit of bump in terms of expectations, of workload, of difficulty. Think of it as like a video game, right? The difficulties, you're gonna go up a level. But this isn't something that you all can't handle. Your transfer students, and I forgot to say it earlier. Um, I should have said this sort of before we begin. Like before I get too far into this, and before we get too far into this day, like take a second wherever you are to sort of congratulate yourself and think about what you've accomplished. And you might be saying, like, what is he talking about? Like, I haven't graduated. You, at some point in your life, you set a goal to transfer to a four-year university. And here you are. This being in this Zoom room is the physical manifestation of that. And again, you might be saying, well, that's not a big deal. But it sort of is a big deal because we know that of students who start at a community college and say they want to transfer, only 20% end up making it. So you all of you in this room represent like the 20% that got here. And that's through your hard work and dedication and things like that. So again, like before we kind of get into this, and as we get into this day or as you start your semester, kind of bring that confidence with you. You are one of only 20% of people who made it. Um, so again, that doesn't mean you're done with your journey or you're not going to struggle a little, but but I think it's okay to start from that space, especially if you start to feel overwhelmed or you start to feel a little down. Like remember, you are part of that 20% that made it here. So just again, before we go on, take a second to congratulate yourself. And I tie it back to this, and if you read on this slide, these are quotes from students when we gathered data in terms of what they were talking about in terms of the difficulty spike. Again, this isn't anything you can't handle, and I'll give you some tips on how to deal with this, but this is one of the things that students have talked about. The second thing that students have talked about is where to find services on campus. So I'm guessing at your old university, you'd gotten into a routine, right? You knew who to go to for help, whether it was for a class or if you needed to get into a class or for a club. You'd found someone there to help you, or you knew where to go, or even just the secrets, right? You're just like, oh yeah, I had an 8:30 class. I could roll out of bed at 8:10 because I knew I could park in this loading zone. And right, you sort of had it figured out in terms of that type of stuff. So one of the things students say is that when they come here, they have to sort of start over in that regard, sort of like where are the services, if I need help, who do I go to? So that's one thing students have talked about. Um, and then the other thing, and you're going to hear this so much today, right, everyone's going to encourage you to get involved. And so what the final sort of thing students talk about is two things, like where do I get involved? And a lot of times we professors and we make the mistake of we just say, oh, get involved, get involved. And students are like, okay, but how? And so that's where some transfer students struggle. And the reason that we're going to talk about getting involved isn't necessarily kind of the rah university spirit. There's a little of that. And I think if you have that, that's great. But the data shows that students who get involved on campus do better academically. They do better in terms of getting jobs. So again, this isn't just our opinion of like trying to foster school spirit. It is we have data showing that. And again, I'm going to give you suggestions because involvement, look, you might not believe it, but I am an introvert. I'm not a big joiner when I went to college, so I wasn't necessarily one of those rah guys. But we're going to give you a lot of options. And involvement can look a lot like a lot of different things. It can look very heavy like student government, or it could just be going, there are video game clubs on campus that have nothing to do with academics. That's getting involved too. Um, so those are the three challenges that students have said they faced. Um, so let's deal with that first one first of like difficulty of the classes. So I'm going to talk about growth mindset. Any of you that might be psychology majors might be familiar with this. Maybe you've encountered it in your high school, or if you have younger brothers and sisters in school, you may have heard about sort of growth mindset. It's just this idea about how you think about learning and intelligence. And so a growth mindset is this analogy I'm going to keep using is like your brain is like a muscle. I'm going to keep using these gym and workout analogies and we know this to be true. Like this isn't just a metaphor. We know when you learn, your brain makes new neural pathways. Um, and so that idea that your brain is like that, it can learn. Um, and so use that analogy of like going to the gym or something like that. So right now, if I said, hey, at the end of the semester, I'll give you $25,000 if you can bench press 220 pounds, if you could run a 10K, or if you could play this Taylor Swift song on the piano, I'll let you choose. Some of you are like, sweet, I can already bench press 200 pounds. I'm going to take your money. But those of you who can't do any of those things, you could, right? And you know how you would do it. You're like, oh, I'll go get a personal trainer. I'll go watch some videos about running. I'll go get a piano teacher, right? You have this, even if you don't know how to do it, you have this sort of like, you can do it. It's going to take work and things like that. Um, what's the opposite of a growth mindset is we should talk about too. It's what we call a fixed mindset. It's this idea that intelligence is set. Or think about this: there are people who are good at some things. They're sort of people who are born smart or born talented, and then there's everyone else. Um, just yeah, feel free. Like, how many of you in here have either thought or been told at one point that you are bad at math? Feel free to either put it in the chat or raise your hand because I'll raise my hand, right? Like, that's a fixed mindset, right? That there's this idea that there are people who are born good at math and there are people who are born bad at math. And again, it's not necessarily true. Are there people that math comes much easier to some people than it comes to me? I'll tell you, it is difficult for me. So we're not saying that everyone's equal in math, but this idea that I'm bad at math and I can never be good at it is a fixed mindset. And we want to get away from that. Because like I said, think of it as sort of any other thing, like going to the gym or training. You can do that's what your brain is a muscle and it can learn. So, but how do we get there? The first thing is to realize that struggle is natural. Oh, every single one of you is going to struggle this semester. I'm going to struggle this semester. Christiana, who is amazing at her job, is going to struggle this semester. I'm not going to convince any of you that struggle's fun, right? You're not going to be like struggling in some class and you're going to be like, oh, I love this because that dude at orientation said I should. No, like struggle's natural and it stinks, but it's part of the process. And so when you struggle, it doesn't mean you're bad or you're dumb or anything. It's part of learning. And to the point where I would put this to you, what would happen if you came to college and you didn't struggle and it was easy for you? You probably wouldn't be learning. Um, right? We could do that for you. We could put you back in the third grade and you would like ace school without any struggle. When you challenge yourself, again, either physically, emotionally, or in terms of learning, when you push yourself, you're going to struggle. And that's how you know you're sort of learning. Again, using the gym analogy, like you sort of have to push yourself. And that's where you sort of you get gains. Lastly on this, okay, because you're just like, okay, stop talking philosophically. Can you give me some actual pointers? I think the key to success is this combination of like hard work. And some of you were like, no, duh. And this is the problem. Sometimes when you struggle and you might go to a friend or a family member and you're just like, I'm struggling in this class. And their advice to you is going to be like, you should work harder. And you're just like, thanks. I never thought of that. Right? You're it's a key piece, but you're probably already working hard. Right. And how many of you have seen these videos on YouTube? You know, you can admit it, you've laughed, right? You see someone at the gym and they're using the equipment incorrectly. Um, right? Yeah, I'm sure some of you have seen those videos. Like, what if that was your friend and they came to you and they said, "Oh man, I'm going to the gym and I'm just not, it's not doing anything." And what if your advice to them is like, "You need to go to the gym 2 more days a week?" It's not really good advice, right? They're already working hard. They need help, sort of thing. So again, first part's working hard. The second part is asking for help, and it's a skill. Like I struggle asking for help, and I'm guessing a lot of you in here struggle asking for help, and it literally is a skill to learn. I had a student who took my transfer student class, and she said the thing she learned in that class was how to ask for help. And she said, "Oh, I think it's kind of silly that I would say it, but I think it's a skill." And she was absolutely right. Um, so again, you have to work hard, ask for help, and when you ask for help, what you're going to get, hopefully, from either students, professors, mentors, coaches. There's so many people on campus to help you. Is you're going to get strategies. And so here I'll tell you a story that ties this all together. So when I was at Palomar College, I was taking a botany class where, yeah, we had to learn about plants and the parts of the plants, and they would give us a test with a blank picture of a plant, and you would have to fill it in with like, oh, it's this part, this is the pistil, the stem, and I had a fixed mindset, and so I struggled, right? And I said, "Oh, I'm bad at memorization." And then I had my first exam, and I don't do well, and this reinforces this belief I have that I'm bad at memorization, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I got my first exam back, and it was just like a sea of red ink. That's how poorly I did. But the woman next to me did well, and so I asked her, right? Because I was already kind of working hard in terms of studying. I said, "Oh, how did you do well on this exam?" And she said, "Oh, what I do is I just make a mnemonic device, which means she just memorizes kind of the first letters of the different parts and makes this like a silly rhyme or sentence or something like that." And I was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." And again, she didn't invent that, like but it's still a good idea. And I employed that, and on the next exam, I did better. So again, it was that combination of like I did study, I asked someone for help, and they gave me advice. So when you struggle, like, so if you're sort of coming away from this and being like, okay, what is my takeaway? Again, like seek help and you'll get strategies there. Um, for that second part, getting involved on campus, again, you're going to hear it over and over again. But I think there's a reason why we're saying it. We're not just saying it, like I said, because it's our opinion, like we have data. So how do you get involved? I want to give you some easy sort of ways. Like an easy way is to go to professor's office hours. Yeah, again, either thumbs up or say in chat if you've ever gone to a professor's office hours outside of class or visited a professor outside of class. Um, it's a good way to start. And I know for students sometimes they're hesitant either because they feel like it's awkward or they don't want to sort of bother the professor. So I'll hit both of those for you. One, you're not bothering us. We have hours for students. Like we set aside hours for students. And if you all don't come to my office, you know what I have to do? I have to do work. I have to answer emails and do, I would so much rather talk to you than answer my emails and fight my colleagues about some stupid committee or something like that. I said this on the orientation earlier this week. I've been here nearly 20 years, and I can't think of a single time where the students come into my office and I've kind of rolled my eyes like, oh God, like never. I still enjoy talking to students. So you're not putting us out. Again, maybe you'll find it. There are maybe a couple professors that are grumpy or whatever. The most of them here, that's not the case. In terms of like, oh, like getting past that awkward minute or two, here's a couple pieces of advice. You could just go in, say hi, introduce yourself, say, hi, I'm a new transfer student. Do you have advice about how I could succeed here or in the major? Um, Ask professors, like, as you can imagine, I'm talking a lot, right? Professors love to talk. Go in and ask them, oh, can you tell me a little bit about your research? Or this is a trick somebody told me. If you just want to get the conversation going, go in and ask a question you sort of know the answer to. So maybe in the lecture you talked about, I don't know, attribution theory or something like that, and you did get it, but just go into office hours and say, hey, can we talk about attribution theory again? And it's just to get past that, because what I've heard from students is just getting past that initial first couple awkward minutes. And then they relax because they're like, oh, the professor's nice and it's not that bad. So do that. Seeking out high impact practices. That's just a fancy word for some of the things you see on there, like internships and service learning and study abroad and research opportunities. This again is how you can kind of get the most out of your schooling. And again, data shows that students who do all these things tend to do better. And so it is, and you know, the clock, because you're a transfer student, the clock starts really quick. You're only going to be here 2 or 3 years, so you kind of want to get started on these things. If you're kind of like, what are these things and where, like, again, you can start with professors. You can kind of ask them about like, oh, I heard there, does the department have research or internships or things like that? Try and seek these things out in terms of getting involved on campus. This analogy that my colleague Ali likes to use in terms of like asking for help is like, think of yourself like as like a race car driver, right? You are the one in the car by yourself running the race, but you're not alone, right? If you think of any sort of race car driver, they have a whole pit crew. They have a team that designs the car and maintains the car, and they have a people in their office who do publicity and all sorts of things like that. So think of yourself as that race car driver, but there's so many people on campus here to help you. It's literally their job to help you. They get paid to help you. Um, from all of them, for most everyone on here, it's their passion to help students because if they hated helping students, they picked a bad job. Um, right? So, like, there's so many people on campus. So, again, like the two things you're going to hear over and over again is like get involved and seek help. And the other thing is you're paying for all these resources. I think you're going to hear from the Career Center at some point. That's a great resource. Your student fees go to pay for these services, so you might as well use them, like take advantage of them. People are here to help. So we talked about struggle earlier. The second you start to struggle, find someone to help you. And I'll talk about some other things too, um, where you can kind of go. But like use that analogy of like, again, you're the driver, you have to do the heavy lifting in terms of you're the one doing the reading and going to class, but there's so many people here to help you. A couple things for transfer students. There's a transfer student reception next Tuesday. I'll be there. Uh, Jay will be there. My colleague Ali will be there. Um, and so you see, it's Tuesday during U hour. So if you're unfamiliar, what we call U hour on Tuesday and Thursday from 12 to 1, there are never any classes scheduled. And this is when a lot of events happen. So we'll talk later about getting involved. There's all sorts of things you can do during that hour. So it's not even about coming back to campus or something like that. If you have a break and you don't have classes, get involved. Um, it's a great reception. You'll get some information. You'll meet some other transfer students. There'll be food there. So it's in USU 2310. So please come. Again, you don't have to bring anything or be prepared. Just sort of come, meet some transfer students, get some more information and free food. Free food's always good. Um, the other thing too, I'm going to talk about, I'll come back to. So There's a Teams channel. Jay talked about that. It's a Microsoft Campus. So that's a place you can ask questions. So if you have sort of quick questions, um, you can put them in the Teams channel, and the O team is great about answering those quickly. So again, if you have some more, if it's not like a deep question for a professor or the Career Center, and you just have a quick, like, where is this thing? Where do I go to do this? Go into the Teams channel. I'm going to talk about this transfer success track. So again, we're talking about getting involved, and some of you are just going to get involved. You don't need any help. You just need me to get out of your way. Um, some of you might want to get involved, but you're just like, again, how do I get involved? So we have this cool thing, the transfer success track. If you want to, you can scan that QR code. It doesn't obligate you. You're not signed up for like a timeshare or anything. This is just a form that they can contact you if you're interested. What the transfer success track is, think of it like if you want to get involved and you're one of those people, you're like, yeah, I know if I don't have some structure, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say I want to get involved, and then all of a sudden it'll be the end of the semester and I won't do it. I won't have done it. The transfer success track is this nice program, like a structure that will help you get involved. And so as you sort of see, and again, I don't go through all of it, um, it will give you events to go to, and you have a bunch of choice. You can go to the events, write a reflection, and then when you're done, you get the certificate of completion and a medal to wear for graduation. Again, this isn't for everyone. If you're already getting involved, that's fine. This is a good structured thing for, like I said, if you're one of those people like me who's like, I need structure, because if I kind of don't have going to do it. Students who do it love it. Again, if you even have a remote interest in it, scan the QR code, sign up. You can change your mind later when they contact you. You can be like, ah, it's not for me, type of thing. Library. I'm not the librarian, my colleague is, but library is a good place to go. We talked about earlier, like, yes, you can put a question in the Teams channel, but you can also go to the library and talk to the front desk or librarians about all sorts of things, any sort of questions you have. Even if they can't answer them, they'll probably send you in the right direction. The library also has library reserves for some of your classes. Some of your professors will put books or materials up there to save you money. Um, the cool thing about this university is that there are librarians assigned to each sort of department. So if you are in physics or sociology, you have a librarian assigned to your department. So if you have a paper or a research paper or a project, you can go to your professor for help, but you can go to your librarian for help. And it's cool. The cool thing about the librarians is that like you can be sort of maybe more frank with them. If you wait till the last minute, they're not going to judge you for procrastinating. If you're a little frustrated with the assignment, like, I don't know what this professor is asking for, they've seen those assignments before, right? And they can be like, oh, that's Professor Atherton. This is like his instructions are sometimes unclear. This is what he's looking for, right? They can help you out with that type of stuff. And like I said, because they're not grading you, maybe you can be a little more frank with them. You can be like, I'm frustrated and I don't understand. Again, I think you can ask your professor those questions, but if you feel more comfortable, go to a librarian. They're there to help you. If you have to do research and find materials, they will help you with that. You can either go in physically. I believe that if you go to the website, there's a chat too. So if you have a quick question, you can chat with them. Also, the library has cool study spaces for you. So if you have to, I think they have these little cubes. We always say phone booths, but then we're like, do college students know what phone booths are? They're just these little pods where if you have to, say you have an in-person class and then you have a Zoom class, you can go into that space and take the Zoom class. Also, their rooms, study rooms you can get. Um, yeah, part of it's about finding that cool little space to study if you have breaks. So the library is a good resource on campus. The other thing I'm involved in is the Common Read. So again, we're talking about how do you get involved? The Common Reads this program. It's what we call like a common intellectual experience where the university sort of reads different books, and then we have events centered around those books. In the past, we would do one book, but that gets really political. So what we've done in the last few years is pick a theme. So the theme for this year is stories as mirrors, windows, and sliding doors. So the cool thing is we give these books out. So if you want, and we also target books for people who we get a lot of students who are like, oh, I don't have time to read, or I'm not a big reader. we have all sorts of books. We have graphic novels and young adult books and poetry books. There's all sorts of things here. Um, we're outside the library once a month to give these books away. They're yours for free. So that if you're interested in getting a free book, the first time we will be there will be Thursday, January 29th during U hour. So again, at noon in front of the library. Come, say hi, grab one of these books for free. Allie, who's my colleague, also said to tell you all that if you come on that day, so again, January 29th, Thursday at noon, if you come to that and say that you remember you remember this crazy person from orientation talking to you, we'll give you an extra free book from last year. So again, come um, look at the books, get a free book. If you want to, come to one of the events. And like I said, when we talked about involvement, again, big things like student government are great, or getting involved in clubs, but even something like this of just grabbing a free book and coming to event is getting involved. Um, so I've talked at you enough. I want to ask you all some questions to think about. And if you feel comfortable, put your answers in chat because I think it will help. Um, and so the first question, yeah, we'll just answer that first question. I wanted these to appear one at a time, but so think back to your most successful semester in college. So that semester where everything was going right, whatever, you got on the dean's list, or even it's not even about grades. Maybe you had that real tough class that you passed. What was the one most important thing you did to contribute to your success? So you probably did a lot of things. Here, I'm gonna stop sharing and I can just ask you all these questions because I kind of want to see your answers. So again, take us time to reflect and just think about your most successful semester. What's one thing you did that you're like, that's the key? We have some good answers in terms of like flashcards, staying disciplined, found a tutor, right? Establish a routine. So again, like look into chat because I think I'm asking you this question twofold for you to sort of think back, right? To like, oh yeah, what did I do to succeed? And just put that in the top of your mind, like, let's do that again this semester. I love the sleep, eat, and stay social, right? Like, yeah, I think sometimes we focus on the like, oh, it's the reading and this and that, but like, yeah, it's like health, time management's a good one. So again, sort of bring these things to the forefront of your mind, but also look into chat and be reminded of sort of what some of you know your colleagues have done. Yeah, I think I'm seeing a good theme of like consistency or routine. And like if we're being honest with you, like that's going to be tough for that first couple weeks. And here's what I'll sort of tell you and what I tell students, like get into that mindset of what I tell my transfer students is in terms of getting into this mindset of like um a lot of times new transfer students will kind of be focused about surviving that first semester. And I think that's okay, especially for the first 3 weeks where you're like have to figure out parking and where's this classroom and all these things that you all are talking about, like time, like how do I balance work and school? You have to do that for the first few weeks. But I would encourage you to flip, there's a switch in your mind to go from survive to thrive. Like after you've kind of like settled in terms of like okay, now that I'm here and I have a routine, like I'm gonna thrive here. I'm gonna get on the dean's list. I'm gonna, the cool thing about transferring is this is in some ways it's a fresh start. You get to kind of like wipe the slate clean a little bit. You're starting fresh. So I was somebody at community college who didn't really get involved. I was kind of a go to class, go to campus, leave as fast as I could. When I got to, when I transferred to UCSD, I said, I want to kind of change this. I want to try. And again, I wasn't a big joiner, but I did get involved. So look at it there. So I'll ask you that sort of second question, which was think back to a tough semester where you struggled. And your struggle might not have been your fault, right? Maybe a family member got sick, maybe you lost your job or your car exploded. But think back to that time when you struggled. or maybe it was about motivation. Is there something you wish you would have done differently to either succeed, or like I said, if it was outside of your control, like your car exploded, is there anything you wish you'd have done better to cope? Um, and again, this is the reason I'm asking is twofold. One, to sort of think about, like I said, you are going to struggle here. That's natural. Doesn't mean you're a bad student. Every transfer student who comes here has struggled. But just putting those things in your mind, is there anything you can think of that semester where you struggled, but to think like, I wish I would have done this, or now in hindsight that you've grown and have more experience, I kind of wish I would have done this to cope. Um, Go ahead and feel, yeah, yeah, building relationships, asking for help. Again, I can't stress enough how many people on this campus are here to help you. And hopefully I've given you some suggestions of, even like sometimes students say, I don't know where to go for help. Go to somebody, like come to your professor. I might not be the person to help you, but I can send you in the right direction. Go to the library, the O team, in the Teams channel, ask for help, and someone will send you, again, you know, you might ask something about your career, like, I don't know anything about that, but I'll send you there. Really quick, I know I'm running out of time. I see imposter syndrome in there. That's a big thing, right? This feeling that you don't belong. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I got to my PhD program, I I thought they were going to tap me on the shoulder and be like, "Oh, we made a clerical error, and there's a different Matt Atherton we thought we were accepting, and it's not you." Um, Here's what I'll tell you about imposter syndrome, though. That's normal. Most people feel imposter syndrome, and you absolutely do belong. I don't worry about students who experience imposter syndrome, because I think it's sort of a natural reaction, right? It's like when you get on a roller coaster, your natural reaction is to be anxious. Um, I kind of worry about students who don't have imposter syndrome, because I think they have it and they're just masking it. Um, but if we get back to, if you're starting to feel imposter syndrome here, remind yourself you are part of the 20% that got here. You've demonstrated success in the past. You absolutely do belong here. Um, right? You felt imposter syndrome before, and here you are, and you are all on your way to become. In my senior class, I have students write down this number. It's 37.7%. That's the percentage of people in the United States who get bachelor's degrees. You all are on your way to join that 37.7%. And last question, because I think I'm at my time. If you just want to put in chat, what is the thing you're most excited about this semester? When we did this the other day, someone screamed, "Spring break!" uh, which made me chuckle. Um, but I think I don't want to put you all behind for time. I think I'm at my time. Um, Again, you can reach go. The transfer reception is a good place for next week. You can always email me. Um, O team, like just remember, there's tons of people here to help you. You will all do great. Um, like I said, you've struggled in the past. You overcame it. You can do it again. Um, yeah, I have faith in you all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Atherton. You are awesome. We are lucky to have you. We can't echo enough your comments. Like, we are literally here to help transfer students. And of course, all students at Cal State San Marcos. So just know that if you don't know who to ask, start with us. Start a new Teams channel. You could ask the whole group, or definitely look at the names that are on your screen that have O Team next to them, and just reach out. Or, as Dr. Atherton just said, you could also find the Transfer Success team and reach out to them too. So with that, I know that Fabiola is in our room. I've made her co-host, so she should be right on time. Get ready to share all the things that come after your bachelor's degree, that career. The reason why you're here is that degree, and to get a job, or more importantly, a career. So Fabiola, the show is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Can you all see my screen correctly?
We can see and hear you. You're good.
Perfect. Awesome. But yeah, my name is Fabiola Escobedo Torres. I serve as my title is Career Internship Support Specialist. So I work on the internship side of things here at Cal State San Marcos. I also serve as a career counselor, and I'm also the liaison to COBA. So COBA is the College of Business Administration. So if any of you are business majors, just know that I'm one of your points of contact. But we see all students, so even if we serve a liaison role at the Career Center as counselors, we see all students no matter what your major is. And you can definitely make an appointment with whoever you feel comfortable. So today I'm going to tell you all a little bit about our Career Center resources. To start off, here is a picture of our staff team. Dr. Yasmin Farley is a director. Christina Jeffries is our Associate Director of Internships and Partnerships. She helps a lot with connecting students with internship opportunities. And then we have our back of support staff, Jennifer, Erica, and Monica, who help facilitate a lot of the behind the scenes. And then we have our career counselors, Mark, David, Lisa, and myself. We all serve as career counselors and have liaison titles. Mark serves chess, David serves CHABS, and Lisa serves CSTEM. And like I said, I serve COBA. So what we do at the Career Center is that we really do try to help facilitate students to experiences to help them obtain a job or fulfilling career after graduation. The idea is to help you all kind of be able to kind of start gaining experience. And when you come and see us at the Career Center, depending on what stage you're at, we can definitely help facilitate with a lot of, helping you find sites and things like that, whether it's looking for internships, research, jobs, and other opportunities. We serve all students, freshmen to seniors. We even serve grad students. And at least 53% of our students participate in internships, some sort of field experience, or co-ops or clinical assignments. So our services essentially are like a two-prong approach. We offer major and career exploration, and then we also do career development and launching. So ideally, we help a lot with if you're kind of struggling with what to do with your major, we have appointments where you can explore some of our resources, like what can I do with this major? Again, we help you with career research through our occupational handbook. We have assessments, so if it comes down to really needing to kind of find out what you're interested in, we can issue an assessment, you can take it, come back, and we have like an hour appointment where we discuss your results. Again, you can have an appointment with us. We have panels, job fairs, and events, and other collaborations with other colleges to showcase what your options are. And we also have a podcast. On the career development side and launching, we really do help support students from like literally the beginning stages up until the end when it comes to building a resume, doing the LinkedIn profiles, again, doing some research and helping you all kind of identify areas that you're interested in. So you can always make an appointment to have it as a resume looked at, a cover letter looked at, helping you build your LinkedIn profiles and handshake profiles. If you need strategies, like if something's not working and you've done the resume and you've built your LinkedIn and you're getting, jobs, but you're not necessarily getting the calls, we can always like pivot and help you strategize. We do interview prep. So you can always come and do a mock interview with a Career Center employee, whether it's virtual or in person. We do both. So again, it's like an hour. We can help you either create a strategy for the interview or actually like treat it like a real deal interview. We also have a software called Big Interview that helps prepare you. So if you don't have time to see us, you have access to the software. As the professor mentioned earlier, you're already paying for it. Make sure you use these tools that are available to you. We also have internships. So we have a database to look for internships if you decide to take an academic internships class. We also have Handshake, which is also a job board that helps you search for internships if you just want like paid experience. If some of you are thinking about going to grad school, once you complete your studies here at Cal State San Marcos, I've helped plenty of students, again, research schools and also help with their essay statements that they end up submitting, their personal statements to the universities. So again, if you need help either brainstorming ideas or even just having someone read over your personal statement or facilitate any kind of, struggles with the graduate application. We're here to help with that. We also have a Cougar Career Closet. It's full of interview clothing or even just professional wear in case you do get a job or an internship and you need some clothing. We have plenty of options that are nicely, donated by people in the community and staff. And we also have professional headshots. When it comes to our programs, fairs, and employer engagement, like I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of collaborations with colleges and campus offices. We help with, we have a workforce recruitment program. We have the graduate and professional school fair. So again, the Career Center will host events every semester, and we usually do a graduate fair and a job and internship fair. We've also done a part-time job fair for some of you who just need a job to like pay the bills. We've had those events for you all. We do them at least, like I said, each event has one event per semester, so a total of 3 events. And then we also do site visits. So if some of you all are thinking about certain careers, we often organize small events where we take students on site to go explore these organizations. In the past, we've taken people to Callaway Golf and some other military contracting organizations. And then we've also had employers come in and do presentations, whether it's like a resume presentation or just come to campus because they're looking to hire talent. So earlier I mentioned Handshake. This is something you all have access to. Handshake is our job board and also like our career center like area where you can make appointments and have access to a lot of resources. Like I said, this is already free to you. You sign in with your Cal State San Marcos credentials and you make an account. So you'll just go to the Career Center website and you'll see this neon H where you can sign in. Again, if we have events, workshops, and things like that, that's where you sign up for those events. If you want to make an appointment or have a resume looked at, that's where you can make appointments. And you can also connect with employers, and that's where you can also find jobs and internships that you can apply to. And then I also mentioned the Cougar Closet earlier. This is a resource that's available to you all. Again, it's free. You can get up to 4 items per year, even more sometimes, because sometimes we do closet cleanouts. It was founded by one of the student organizations on campus called LBSA, and now it runs out of the Career Center. And we're on the first floor of the administration building right next to academic advising. So you all can always come in person to make a Cougar Closet appointment. Sometimes we don't do same day. It just depends on what the appointments look like that day because we only have like 1 fitting room. But just know that you can always make an appointment for the Cougar Closet on Handshake or by going in person to the Career Center and making it or even calling in. But yes, there's plenty of pieces that are nice and, pre-loved, but, if you need an outfit for an interview, it's a great place to go immediately just to get something. And these are some examples of our professional headshots. Again, they're free. I also really recommend that if you don't have one, that you do make an appointment to get one. We often do the headshots too at our events. So in the past, we've done them at our job and internship fair. You can like come in and take one. There is a long line, but it's one of those things of like the earlier you come, the better. So you can get a professional headshot. Come dressed. Headshots are really expensive outside of, the university, and this is free. So like make the most of it, come in like nice professional wear and get a nice picture. And, often when we have students come to the Career Center, they ask, how do I improve my chances of getting a job after graduation? First and foremost, it's actually coming to the Career Center and, engaging with us early on. A lot of students tend to wait till the last minute post-graduation, and that's okay, like things happen. But the sooner like you start engaging, the better, just because, again, we have opportunities that sometimes come up. and you don't want to miss those things. If we do have an employer who's looking to come to campus and hire our students, or if we have these employers coming in for the job and internship fair, really become familiar with our resources and come to our workshops. A lot of the time, we teach people how to make resumes at our workshop. We teach interview skills and other things. We tell you how you can get an academic internship or a regular internship. I also recommend following us on Instagram and TikTok at the Career Center. When we do get, notifications about job postings, we tend to post them on our stories. So if you are looking for a gig, like you can always check our Instagram and see if we posted any kind of new opportunity. Through a podcast, we also, again, talk about certain topics. So if you are more of like an audible listener, you have access to this resource. And again, we help with internships, field placements, practicum, and clinicals. We have this workshop called Navigating the Road to Academic Internships. So that's where we discuss a lot of the things that are needed ahead of time before you start looking. A lot of the tips are also useful for non-academic internships. So regardless, I would recommend just coming and hearing our presentations. Again, job shadowing, career conversations, part-time employment. You can find part-time employment on Handshake. A lot of campus jobs tend to post. And if some of you are looking for employment, for on-campus employment, I would say start looking now, because those jobs tend to get posted around this time, because a lot of our students end up graduating and then coming back. And they need those positions replaced. There are opportunities to volunteer with us. In the past, we've had students volunteer at a career fair. So if you're just trying to get involved, that's a great experience for you to, get something that you can list on your resume. And then just in general, I would recommend engaging with anything on campus. Leadership and engagement is highly recommended, especially if some of you have like a really, intense course load. What ends up happening is a lot of students end up focusing too much on the school part that they sometimes forget that you do also need experience to kind of start leveraging some of those opportunities. So even if you join a club, have like an officer position in the club, or just volunteer occasionally, these are all good things to start building up ahead of time. So then when you're graduating, you don't feel like you didn't get any experience. And then you can follow us on all social media platforms. We have a Spotify, we have an Insta, TikTok, and YouTube. We have a LinkedIn as well. We do weekly newsletters, and you can always email us at the Career Center. And like I mentioned before, we're located on the first floor of the administration building, suite 1400. And you can always email us and call us at that number. Any questions?
Fabiola, you're a rock star.
Thank you.
You went right through that. Any questions, students? The floor is yours.
And I know it's a lot of information, you all, so like there's no like dumb questions or anything. Like this is an opportunity to kind of even ask like, what does an appointment look like, or anything like that. And yes, you can donate to the closet. I saw someone put that in the chat. You're more than welcome to donate any kind of professional clothing from either friends or family and stuff like that. We even give you like a little ticket for tax purposes and stuff. So it's a write-off. And yes, appointments are online or in person. You can pick which one you want. And yes, you use your school email. So if you already have a Cal State San Marcos email, you can sign into Handshake. And like you'll create an account. It'll ask you a bunch of questions in the beginning because it wants to know like your like what grade level you're in and all that kind of stuff and what you're interested in. The headshots are by appointment. We have student assistants and professional staff who take them. So when you go on a Handshake and try to make an appointment, it'll give you an option to check what kind of appointment you want, and the headshot is that appointment. So just make sure that you actually look at the labels when you pick an appointment type, and that you pick that you're an undergraduate student. Job locations in San Diego, we have a lot of partners. It just depends on like what you're interested in. We have like, if you're in the humanities, we have like MAC, we have the Boys and Girls Club. If you're in C-STEM, we've had Callaway come. They also come for COBA. We've also had, what do you call it? It's just a lot of organizations I'm trying to like name on the top of my hat.
That's okay. I think Fabiola, the more important one is, are all the job locations located only in San Diego?
Oh no, we know and we're aware that we have students that also live in the Inland Empire. So, and also just in general, Handshake is open to any campus that has it. So you will see out-of-state opportunities as well. And what do you call it? Because it is like a big software that multiple schools have, so everyone's posting opportunities. So it expands beyond San Diego. Sorry, I misread the question.
No, that's all good. Well, thank you so much, Fabiola. I see that
Mhm.
our next guest speaker is in here. I have Lillian
Perfect.
to go over wellness and at CSUSM for Student Health and Counseling Services. Um, Thank you,
Yeah.
Fabiola. Your
Thank you.
time is
Is up.
good. All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, Lillian, this is my first time meeting you virtually. So, hey,
Hey.
welcome to our online orientation. We've got a bunch of students here that are eager to hear about student health and counseling services. So you are about to share your screen, so take it away. Show us yours.
Okay, great. Can you actually see my screen?
We can see it and hear
Okay,
you. You're good.
great. I don't think I'll be able to see comments or questions as they come in, so I'm sorry. But hopefully we'll have some time for me to answer any questions with the time that we have left. But yes, my name is Lillian, and I'm a therapist at Student Health and Counseling Services. And today I'll be sharing some information about well-being and resources that are available to you on campus. So some things that we'll be covering are preventing sexual harm on campus, bystander intervention strategies, some topics about understanding mental health and accessing campus support. And all of these can be understood within the context of how we can help build a caring community here at San Marcos on campus, and what steps that we can take to ensure that we're caring for not only ourselves, but other people. And because we'll be covering some sensitive topics potentially, feel free to step out or step away if ever needed, and to practice self-care as you need. So, part of creating a culture of care is being aware of how we're conducting ourselves in our relationships. Some of the basics of any healthy relationship, not just romantic or sexual, but also platonic friendships and even ideally family relationships too, are that there's a foundation of respect and trust and free communication. Boundaries and limits are respective, and generally the relationship is supportive and not controlling. Some red flags in relationships are feeling unable to bring things up or talk about your feelings with those other people because you're afraid that they'll get angry with you or dismiss you or pressure you to do things that you're uncomfortable with. And there's a feeling of being disrespected or maybe a lack of communication. And just for some safer sex practices, we offer condoms, free condoms, dental dams, things like that at the Student Health and Counseling Services building. We also offer free and low-cost STI testing for sexually transmitted infections. And so we just want you to know those are options available to you. And we also offer birth control and emergency contraception as well. And it's a lot cheaper to get these things from us on campus rather than going to CVS. So would encourage you to definitely utilize those services. So we're also going to talk about a few other things to help create a culture that encourages and normalizes affirmative consent, bystander intervention, and supporting survivors of sexual violence. So what is consent? We like to say we love fries as a way to remember the FRIES acronym for consent. Consent is first freely given, meaning that it's a choice that you make without feeling pressured or manipulated into making. And also, it's one that's made not under the influence of drugs or alcohol. If someone is inebriated, they actually cannot give consent, so therefore there is no consent. Consent is also reversible, meaning that anyone can change their mind about what they feel like doing at any time, even if you've done it before or are already naked in bed. And consent is informed, meaning that you can only consent to doing something if you have all of the information. For example, if your partner says that they'll use a condom and then they actually don't use a condom, then there isn't consent. You didn't consent to having sex without a condom. And consent is also enthusiastic, meaning that you should only do stuff that you actually want to do, not things that you feel like you're expected or persuaded to do. It's an enthusiastic, yes, I want to do this myself. And lastly, consent is specific, meaning that saying yes to one thing, like kissing or making out, doesn't mean that you've said yes to anything else, like sex, for example. But if you're unsure, just ask. And if you're uncomfortable, we encourage you to speak up. If you need help, reach out. So now we're going to talk about what being a bystander is and what the bystander effect is. The bystander effect, for anyone who hasn't heard of it already, is a social phenomenon where people are actually less likely to offer help to a victim if there are other people around. And this can be driven by a few things, like assuming that someone else will step in and act, or maybe misunderstanding the situation as not an emergency because other people around you aren't reacting like it's an emergency, and also fear of social judgment. But research shows that when at least one person steps in and acts, it often triggers other people to help. And that helps turn bystanders into what we call upstanders. So, how to be an upstander? There are 5 steps. 1, you first have to notice that something wrong is happening. 2, you have to interpret the situation as harmful or as an emergency, and then decide if you have a responsibility to act. 3 is to assume responsibility, meaning you have to decide how you're going to intervene and if you need to get others involved too. And 4, having the skills to intervene. So learning the skills and strategies to step in can involve brainstorming various situations before they happen and practicing what you're going to say. And 5 is to actually intervene. So when it's possible, ask for consent before you intervene. But sometimes things are happening so fast that there isn't time and we just need to get in there and do something. Okay. So now we're going to talk about best practices when someone comes to you and lets you know that they've been sexually assaulted or harassed. The best thing to do is to listen respectfully and believe them, and to let the person know that you care about them by using a calm and compassionate tone. And you can even say something like, in your own words, but something along the lines of, "Thank you for sharing this with me. I realize that that took a lot of courage to share that." And then you can let them know we have campus and community resources available to help you. There is a severe underreporting of these crimes, and really your ability to listen and respond in a non-judgmental way can help change that culture of silence that can exist around sexualized violence. And it's also important to offer the option and say, I know that we have a Title IX office on campus. Would you like to call them together and make a report together? Would you like me to walk you over to student health and counseling services to talk to a therapist? There are lots of reasons why someone may not want to report or may not want help, and it's important to give them the choice to make that decision. But one thing to know is that we'll cover more later on is at Student Health and Counseling Services, we are a confidential support, meaning that if someone comes to talk to us about sexual violence, we are not mandated, like the mental health counselors are not mandated to make a report to Title IX, which can be really nice for someone who's not ready to take that step but still wants some support. And you can offer to walk over with them or give us a call to help set up an appointment if that would be helpful for the person. All right. We also have two really amazing advocates at Student Health and Counseling who are available to help support any students and employees that are impacted by sexual harm. And you can find them in our building. You can call and email them directly to set up an appointment. Their services are also confidential, meaning that speaking with an advocate will not automatically lead to a legal or Title IX report. And what our advocates do is they do a lot. It's impossible to cover it all on one screen, but they are trained to provide emotional and crisis support. They are really informed about different reporting and resource options. If you're struggling in your classes as a result of this experience, they can help reach out to professors and help secure extended deadlines and just communicate with them to make it a little easier on you. They can go with you to medical appointments, to court appointments, and give you on and off campus referrals for other supports. So they're just a really great resource and they're amazing. Okay, so Student Health and Counseling Services is in a building that is between Parking Structure 1 and the USU. And so it's across from the first floor of the USU. And we're also the only building on campus with an orange roof. So just keep an eye out for that. And in that building, we are an integrated center, meaning that we offer both medical and mental health services that are already covered by your mandatory fees for each semester, meaning that you've already paid for these services, so figure might as well use them. I just want to emphasize again the confidentiality of our therapy services. So mental health professionals on campus are bound by strict ethical and legal standards that require us to maintain the confidentiality of our clients' information. So all information shared during therapy sessions, including personal details and concerns, are kept strictly confidential and aren't shared with anyone without the student's written consent, including the university itself, which doesn't have access to clients' records. There are some exceptions to this rule, like when a student poses a threat to themselves or to other people, or the therapist is required by law to disclose that information. But if you choose to come see us for therapy, your therapist will explain confidentiality protocols at the beginning of treatment, just so you're really informed on how we protect your privacy. And our advocates for survivors of sexual violence are also located in our building. Okay. We offer a variety of services at, again, almost no cost or no cost. So you can come in and set up a general medical appointment for a wellness evaluation. We offer sexual and reproductive health services like birth control, emergency contraception, free condoms, things like that. Immunization and lab services. So if you need to get labs run or blood drawn, we offer that as well. And we have a really great pharmacy that provides over-the-counter medications for a lot cheaper than an off-campus pharmacy. Like you can get Advil for $1 or cough drops for $1. And so I would encourage you to, even if you don't check out any of our other services, like even if you never see a doctor or nurse or a therapist here, at least consider getting your routine medications through our pharmacy because yeah, they're offered at a steep discount. We also have a psychiatrist on staff who sees students and helps them navigate prescriptions for psychiatric medications. And our advocates for survivors of sexual assault, like I said, are also there. And we also have health educators who I'm going to speak a little bit more to in a little bit. And this is just a reminder to submit your immunization records to us by the first day of class. It's important to submit them as soon as possible prior to the start of the semester. Otherwise, you may be placed on a registration hold. And so the MMR, measles, mumps, rubella are required for all students. And for anyone who is 18 and younger on the first day of class, so 18 and younger on January 20th, you're also required to submit your Hep B immunization records. Oh, and the way you do that is actually online. So it used to be that students had to like go through this whole convoluted process of like faxing the records in and like calling in. And it was a mess. But now we have a much more streamlined process where you just upload your records online. You can scan this QR code if you want to do that right now, but it's also online on our website. So if you just Google CSUSM Student Health and Counseling Services, you'll be able to find a page to upload your immunization records. And you can give us a call if you have any questions or run into any issues along the way. Okay, just wanted to do a quick plug for Narcan, which is the antidote that helps reverse opioid overdoses. And we offer Narcan for free for all CSUSM students. All you have to do is complete a request form online and do a quick training on how to administer it in order to pick up your free box. There are also red boxes on campus and in housing that have Narcan too in the case of emergency. I'm not sure where all of them are, but I know that at least one of them is in or near the USU. But you can also just get them for free from Student Health and Counseling Services. If you just come, you'll do a quick training and then be able to leave with your free Narcan. And it's good to have on hand for other people's safety. So there are lots of reasons that a person might seek mental health support, including feeling sad, down, empty, or hopeless. Maybe they find themselves constantly worrying or feeling anxious. Maybe they're worried about their substance use habits, like drinking or drug use, and other habits that they're finding difficult to control and are really impacting their life. Managing anger and frustration, talking about relationship challenges, family dynamics, all of that. And some of these uncomfortable feelings are totally just part of normal everyday life. And it's okay to feel these ways from time to time, especially in response to stressful events or needs. And our emotions can motivate us to take needed action or make important decisions. However, if you're finding yourself experiencing excessive sadness or worry or hopelessness that can interfere with your daily life or the things that you once enjoyed, that can be a sign to check in with your mental health and seek some support from someone like a counselor or a therapist. Um, the reasons why someone might seek counseling can look very different from person to person. So, no matter the reason, even if you're just curious about connecting with a mental health counselor and trying it out, I would encourage you to just check in and make a phone consultation with a counselor and see if there are options that can support you. And it does not need to get to the level of a mental health crisis or a dire need for you to seek help. You can seek support early on when you notice something that does not feel aligned with you, and know as well too on the other end that it's never too late, and we can help get you connected through a crisis and get you support too. Okay, so some of the mental health services that we offer that as a student you've already paid for are short-term individual counseling, up to 10 free individual sessions in your first academic year. And we also offer short-term couples counseling and workshops and group counseling. And the nice thing about group therapy is that there is no limit on how many groups you can attend. You can attend as many different kinds of groups as you want, as many sessions as you want, and there's no limit like there is for individual counseling. And our groups are really fun. I'll just make a plug for our groups. Like this semester, I'll be running a group called Parental Pain, and it's for students who are navigating difficult relationships with their parents. So maybe you're feeling like having trouble communicating with them, or like not being heard, feeling like it's difficult to maintain boundaries, or you're arguing a lot and it's just been like emotionally draining or difficult in other ways. That's on Fridays from 2 to 3, hybrid. People can join over Zoom or in person, it's up to you. And we have lots of other groups, like we have a first gen student support group. We have a relationship group for anyone who wants to talk about anything to do with relationships, and an ADHD support group as well. And that's just a small sample. I encourage you to check out our group offerings online because they're about to kick off in a few weeks. And group therapy can be a little intimidating to think about sharing, yourself with other people that you don't know, but it could be really, really nice to get community from other people who just get it and understand what you're experiencing. And if you want to do therapy after college, it can be very expensive. So why not just give it a try and just meet with a counselor to see how it goes? That goes for group therapy too. We generally meet with students like for 20, 30 minutes before the group just to get them, allow you to like meet us. And so I encourage you just to meet with a group facilitator and see how you like it. You can always stop, but it could be something good to try while it's free. And I also mentioned that we already mentioned that we have a psychiatrist on staff who works with students too. If you need to talk to someone for any reason, we have lots of resources for you. You can call us at Student Health and Counseling 24/7. If you call our number up there, which is 760-750-4915, which is also online. If you press extension number 2, we have a contracted counselor available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to talk to anyone who's in distress and facing a crisis. And the San Diego Access and Crisis Line is another option, also a 24/7 crisis line. If you dial 211, that is a way to get connected to county's resources, like working with a social worker, other therapists out in the community, finding safe housing. 988 is a 24/7 suicide and crisis lifeline. And for rape or sexual assault services, we have a 24/7 hotline at the number at the bottom of the screen. So feel free to take a picture. All of these resources are also listed on our website. Let me see how we're doing on time. Oh my gosh, I'm out of time. Okay, let me read through this. The Health Assistance Fund Scholarship is a great resource. Anyone can apply for up to $500 per semester to cover medical or health, like mental health related costs. So if you're getting therapy off campus and need gas money, apply for the half. Or if you need help paying for medications, the half can cover that. Or dental and optometry appointments. There's a lot that it covers, so I encourage you to apply as soon as it opens up at the start of the semester. We also have Hope and Wellness Center programs at our building, and you can apply to become a certified peer educator or a peer intern for the next year and help put on campus events related to mental health, physical health, sexual health, awareness and education. They're an amazing team. And the last thing I wanted to share is the Better You app. If you haven't already signed up, it's a nice way to make some money on the side. I think you get $5 just for signing up. And it's basically a health coach app that maps how you spend your time and helps you set specific goals in physical, social, educational, and mindfulness-based areas of your life. And it basically helps keep you on track to keep you mindful of your habits and make healthier changes in your life. So it could just be a fun thing to supplement the work you're already doing otherwise. Okay, and I will leave this slide up briefly for anyone who wants to take a picture and know how to contact us. But thank you so much for your time. I can stay on a little extra to answer questions through the chat. But yeah, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Lillian. It looks like your colleague at the end of the day, actually, you all as well will be at the resource fair from 11:30 to 12. So if we'll see you then, if folks, if you have additional questions and you want to do a deeper dive about student health and counseling services, Lillian and her colleague Griselda will also be there from 11:30 to 12. So thank you for your time, Lillian. I got my next guest speaker ready to go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Uh, hey, John.
Hello, everybody.
Well, hello. This is John C. Hall, an original O-Team OG. So we're going to turn this over to you to discuss Dean of Students, Cougar Care Network, conduct, civility, basic needs, resources for success. So John, the floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Welcome, everybody, to CSUSM. So glad that you're here and happy to discuss the Dean of Students and some of the great opportunities you have to interact with our office, as well as campus resources. So with that, we'll bring up the presentation and give you a little bit more information about what we do. With that, I'm also here with our Associate Dean, if you'd like to jump on and introduce yourself.
Hey, John, I don't see that Carlos is on.
Okay.
Well,
My
Dean Brown,
apologies.
he's got a different name. Let me let him in. All right, Dean Brown, you should have access. Sorry about that. I wasn't scanning for Dean.
Sorry for throwing you off. I had to do that at the last presentation. So thank you for inviting me to this presentation. It's good to see everyone, to virtually see everyone. I'm here to kind of talk about the Dean of Students Office and what we do, and our goal is pretty simple. We want to see you graduate. We want to see you walk across that stage. We are so proud when we see everyone in this room walk across that stage, but we also acknowledge that it's not easy. It's not easy to be able to do that. So Jay, did you want me to share my screen for the presentation?
Give me a second. I
Oh,
will
okay.
share it for you.
Okay. So yes, so we know it's not easy. Everyone who has problems and challenges, when they go through this experience, I had problems and challenges too. So in order to do it, I had to rely on some support, right? Support networks. Perfect. Thank you. And so our job here is to talk about the types of support we provide. We have three different parts of our office down here outside of the orientation space. And so we provide three different types of support. And on slide 2, you'll see that the three areas that we have are care, support, and advocacy. And so in thinking about care, care is really administered by our Cougar Care Network. And so we think about support. Support is provided by our Basic Needs Office, and advocacy is provided by student conduct and ethical development. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to John to talk about Cougar Care Network and Basic Needs.
Yeah. So to talk a little bit about kind of what that looks like and what comes next. So wanted to talk a little bit about Cougar Care Network. As you get onto campus, we are available to you in quite a few different ways. You can reach out to us online. You can email us directly. You can check out our website. Sorry, having some control issues there, but sorry, apologize, everybody. Just a second. So, as far as Cougar Care Network, again, we're located in the administrative building, AMD 1200. So, you can give us a call, send us an email. Our hours are typically 9 to 5, but we are pretty flexible. So, if you absolutely can't meet us there, hi, let's have a conversation. Let's see what we can do. We can meet with you in person, via Zoom, via Teams, any of those pieces. So, please don't feel like if you can't come in person, which we're more than happy to do, but we're happy to meet with you virtually, via phone, whatever is best. Please, like I said, come on in. There's also a self-referral form if you want to give us kind of an idea of what you're coming in before or ahead of time, which is really helpful. And I'll show you how to do that in just a sec. Beyond that, other great things in our office, come on in. We have free movie theater quality popcorn on Tuesdays. You don't have to even talk to anybody. You can literally walk in the office, grab a bag, and enjoy. But that said, there's a lot of great things that we do, and that's what I'll talk about next. So, um, as far as some of our services, why you might come by, our goal is to have you drop in or call and speak with us the same day. So we want to make sure that, if you come into the office, that we've got somebody available and we'll do our absolute best to make sure that we can meet with you that moment. Obviously, if we can't, we'll schedule something, but our goal is to talk to you within 24 hours. You don't need to bring us any medical history. You don't need to give us a huge, giant history of anything. It can be if you just need maybe some advice, you're feeling homesick, anxious, overwhelmed, certainly, especially within these first couple weeks. We'll provide ideas, resources, and warm ears, and know that we're very friendly, non-judgmental, and encouraging. So we really want you to come on in, get any help or assistance that you need. I'm going to go over some reasons that you might come to us, but also know that, regardless of the reason, if we have heard it, certainly we're happy to help you through it. And if we haven't, we probably know who can. So, with that, I'll talk a little bit more about some of the ways that we can connect. So, for a lot of students, that might be financially. So, maybe you're having some housing insecurity. Maybe you just moved into a new place. Things are going great. You're living with a family, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, we're actually going to be selling the place, and you got to figure it out within a month. That can obviously be really stressful, that transition. Reach out to us. Let's see what we can do. Maybe there's some emergency housing here on campus or helping you transition to a new place. So there's a lot of things in place to help you with that. Food insecurity. Maybe you're looking for those pieces on campus. We've got some great resources, including the Cougar Pantry, which you can use, and it's right next to the student store. Walk on in, grab any, thing that you might need throughout the week, as well as a wonderful program called Swipe Out Hunger, where you can get up to 10 free meals here on campus. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a sec. Job loss. So especially right now, seasonal jobs are starting to end. If you've been in one of those, you might be losing that income. What can we do to help fill that gap while you're looking for that new job or opportunity? So there are some funds and things available. Transportation issues, especially if you're living farther from campus. Maybe you're looking for a ride share or a carpool. Maybe you're living on campus with no car. You can actually check out cars from our parking structure through the Zipcar program. There's a lot of great things that are available to you. And all of those kind of go into that financial emergency. Certainly mental health, which you just heard a whole bunch of information about, and certainly student health and counseling services is a wonderful resource. But also know that our doors are open too, whether you're going through some anxiety, whether you need to meet with somebody, immediately in that moment, please come by and utilize those opportunities. Um, Also going through some of those personal concerns. Maybe you're going through a family crisis or grief or loss. Unfortunately, these are events we usually can't plan for. If you need to leave the country for a funeral or connect with somebody or just need time to grieve, those are very reasonable concerns. Please reach out to us. Let's see what we can do to help you through some of the challenges that you're facing. On that same note, maybe you're going through some sudden illness. Again, feeling a little sick and you're out longer than you planned, or you've been to the doctor and they're like, you cannot go back, and just having those kind of communications with instructors. Going through relationship concerns, going through a breakup is hard, and it does affect people a lot. And I know a lot of students can sometimes feel really embarrassed having that conversation with their instructor, but do know that that is, part of life, and that can be a very significant challenge. And we're happy to help kind of bridge that as well. And all of those things go back to that academic piece. So maybe that includes missing some classes, being behind in your work, having, trouble communicating with instructors. Maybe, you feel like you are, but you're not getting it back, or you are, but you feel like it's not coming off right. Happy to help kind of build that bridge and advocate. Or maybe it's even just a tech issue, having your laptop, something went wrong, something broke down, your hotspot, maybe you're not in an area with great internet or you don't have that access. So those are things that we might be able to help kind of build that bridge with as well. So this is just a small list of all the things that are available. It's not exhaustive, and so please know, any concerns or challenges you're facing, even if it's not here, we would still very much encourage you to come on by and let's see what we can do to help and assist. So, with that, just as far as some of those popular resources, I just talked about the pantry and Swipe Out Hunger. If you're interested in the Swipe Out Hunger program, if you just Google CSUSM, Swipe Out Hunger, it would give you access to that. There's very low barrier to entry, and that would be available to you. Again, so definitely highly encourage that as you need it. Student health and counseling, again, they just went over all this in a little more detail, so I won't go too deep into that. But again, individual and group therapy is there and available to you. Disability support services, whether you need any accommodations, maybe it's physical, maybe it's learning, whatever it might be. Students sometimes don't think like maybe you're diabetic. There's lots of different things that they can help connect with. Maybe you've had an educational plan in the past and things were really helpful to you then. We might be able to bring that to you throughout your college career. So there's a lot of great things that they have available to you. And I encourage you to reach out. The tutoring centers. So there's a whole bunch of different things available to you, whether it's math, writing, STEM courses. And it's rather extensive, all the different courses that they can reach out to, whether it's here on campus or even virtual opportunities. There's the Student Emergency and Health Assistance Fund. So you just heard about the Health Assistance Fund. And the Student Emergency Fund is another great one that's available to you. That's a grant, so money you don't have to pay back. And it can hopefully help if, again, we talked about job loss, or maybe having to pay something that's not part of your regular budget. Then that's a really great thing to use the Student Emergency Fund for, and that can help kind of fill that gap. There's the CalFresh. We can definitely help you get through some of those government programs. We actually have a rep here on campus once a week that you can meet with so you can avoid those pitfalls and get from A to B much faster. And again, those tech loaners I just talked about. So that's just some of the resources that are here and available to you. Please check out our website. Again, if you just Google CSUSM and then CCN or Cougar Care Network, you'll get right here. Those referral forms where those arrows are pointing, the referral form for students is there. So you can click it and, like I said, send us information ahead of time. We'll get a hold of you and we can connect and we'll have that much better an idea how we can help you right off the bat. Or maybe you kind of know what you want, but you just want to do a little research yourself. That bottom link is resources to help. Give it a click. It's got everything under the sun. And again, that's whether you're here in North County or throughout one of the other counties around. So know that, even if you're not close to campus, we do have resources for you. So, and there's our little scan thing as well, so you'd like to check that out. We also have our Cougar Cart here on campus, so please come on by and check out some of our resources. We've got all sorts of things. We have Lucky Ducks, which are very, very popular. We have them for every season. Hopefully, maybe getting one helps you on an exam. Maybe you just want to line up your dashboard, whatever you choose to do. There's plenty to go around. Not to mention, we also have, of course, all of our information. We like to change the theme about every 2 weeks. So you'll always see something new. We have lots of different giveaways, whether it be condoms, fidget toys, candy, all sorts of different things. Please come on by. You'll see the cart all over campus. If you want to know more about it, check out our Instagram, and those are all available to you. Not to mention Frank the dog. So he'll be around at the library once a week, and we'll send out those hours and information to you soon. Check out the Instagram if you'd like some free cuddles. And again, just kind of going over some of those giveaways again. So lots of different things. And one of the most popular are our free fortunes. So come on by, learn a little bit more, get some positivity in your day. Let's see what we can do to help. And then Finally, on my piece, our Instagram, it's great. It's got some of the best memes in the biz. So please check it out. Add some positivity to your feed. If you want to know where the cart's going to be on campus, definitely join up. It's run by our students, not me. I'm told it's super gas, which I'm told is a really great term. That means it is super cool and people like it. So definitely check it out. It's not as cringe as I just made it sound. It's actually absolutely one of the best things you can get connected to. So, and again, our QR code was there. And with that, I'll hand it back over to our Associate Dean.
I don't know how I follow that. Super gas, right? So I'm here to kind of talk a little bit more about advocacy and what we do. So this is the interactive part of the conversation. So I want people to pay attention to the chat. In the chat, I want you to give a thumbs up if you have a really strong auntie that helps you out. Just give a thumbs up. If you have a really strong uncle in your life who helps to support you, gives you advice, gives you guidance and direction, just give a thumbs up in the chat. And then if you have an abuela or a grandma who tells you a lot of stuff, gives you historical knowledge or whatnot. When I think about what I do in this space, I would say I am somewhat of an uncle here. The key role is to let you know that I will tell you what you need to hear, but not necessarily all that you want to hear, right? We give you that guidance, we give you that direction based on our own history. I've been in a lot of different institutions or whatnot, and also what we know is going to be helpful for you. So we do give you that advice because we want to help you learn lessons for life, right? So in thinking about student conduct and ethical development, that's what we do. And when we do it with the lens that shows that we are fair. And I want to make sure that we talk about being fair and what's fair based on the case, because it may vary. It doesn't necessarily mean equal. So two people may be involved in the same case, but they may get different responses or different sanctions. So we do focus on the fairness side, but not necessarily on equal. When we think about being inclusive, we know that we have a lot of different types of students. There are no two students who are alike. Even people who are twins are different, right? They have different ways of engaging. More often than not, those are the ones who are most different, right? And so we have to have different approaches to make sure they're responsive to the individual needs of all of the students, right? And of course, we talk about being safe. It's about making sure that this place is a community and is safe for you to be able to thrive in. Because if you're not safe, it's going to be really hard to focus and really hard to be successful academically. Okay, next slide. And so on the next slide, you'll see that there are several different things. We have a lot of different policies, a lot of protocols, a lot of procedures that we have here on campus. Nothing that's unfamiliar to most people. They're similar to what most folks do and see in life. But the ones I want to highlight here specifically for y'all are the ones focused around the ones that we see most here on campus, academic integrity. When we think about academic integrity, the key part I want you to think about is making sure you understand the rules of the road. Those rules of the road are outlined in every class syllabus, right? Every class syllabus is different because instructors teach differently and they want to focus on different types of content. So when we think about academic integrity, we think about violating this policy, using other people's work, using AI. There are some places where you can use AI in a very limited portion of the class. So it's very important for you to know exactly where that is and what the rules of the road are, because when you violate those rules, then you come to our office and we have to have a conversation about that. Again, it's really about how you can be successful in life, because violating this policy in the real world means theft. It means stealing someone else's work. And you can imagine some of the consequences that come forward when you steal someone else's work. So academic integrity is really, really important. Civility is pretty simple, right? If you can in the chat, type to me, what is the golden rule? What do you think the golden rule is? I see a lot of people typing. Just so you know, the golden rule is not he who has all the gold makes all the rules. The golden rule is do unto others, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? Treat others as you want to be treated, right? And so that sounds very simple, but oftentimes it's difficult, especially when we're talking about situations where people are living together for the first time. A lot of lines are crossed, a lot of challenges come up, and we're here to help monitor that and manage that, right? That's right. Treat others as you want to be treated. The last part really kind of talks about our digital world, right? Different things that happen to you while you're online in this space and other spaces too. Know that when you're in an online class, you are a student here and you're held accountable to the policies and protocols that we have here. Again, going back to the syllabus for an online class may look a little different. They may have some different rules identified for you in an online modality versus on-campus modality. So again, it's important for you to know the rules of the road. I can't emphasize looking at the syllabus enough. We had about, I think, 86 cases last semester around academic integrity, and it's all about not knowing what the rules were. We had conversations and dealt with those. So in thinking about networking and being online, I know I look just as young as everyone else here, but I'm not. I've been around for a while. And when we talked about networking and cyberbullying and different sorts of security back in my day, it really involved a prince, right? Some sort of Nigerian prince who needed some support, right? They've gotten much, much more complicated now, right? There's lots of deep fakes out there, a lot of AI. I've seen some AI ransom cases out here. So it's really important for you to think about your image and how you engage in this online environment. And if you see something, say something. If you have a question about something that just doesn't look right, either send it our way, send it to someone that we know, because more often than not, you're not the only person who's dealing with that. I used to say there's nothing new under the sun, but as soon as I say that, something else pops up that I've never heard of. That happened last term. Can't get into details, but it was very interesting. So definitely know that if you see something, say something, contact us, contact IATS, so that we can respond to it and make sure other people are aware that that's a threat in the world. Oh, next slide. Right. So be aware of the scams, communicate those things. We encourage people to engage early, engage often, and make sure that you stop by our office. We are conveniently located here on the first floor. I can't tell you the number of students who just walk in and see us. Ask us any question. If we don't have the answer, we have a friend in another office that can help you, that can support you. And the last slide is kind of where we talk about how we connect, right? How you connect. Now, I know you talked a lot about different ways to connect. Know that we're responsive to text messages, right? Obviously, we're responsive to emails, individual or collective to the group, Teams messages. I'm active on Discord for those who are active on Discord. Instagram was mentioned for people of my generation who are familiar with the Facebook. I'm responsive to Facebook messages too. Or you can do this thing that's not often done with the phone. You can call me, right? And at the very least, you could walk in. We no longer respond to posts on Snapchat, and for various obvious reasons, we no longer use carrier pigeon. So we're available in many different ways to connect with us. So just reach out and connect with us. We're here to help and here to help make sure you're successful in all that you do here on campus. So thank you. Any questions?
I don't hear anybody, y'all. You can type,
Yep.
you can
No
put it in
chat.
chat.
Yep.
We'll take that silence as the opportunity to say at the top of the hour at 10, we'll be back in the session. We're going to give you all a 5-minute bio break. Thank you, John, and thank you, Associate Dean Brown, for being here and assisting us, welcoming our new transfer students. So everyone will be back at 10, top of the hour.
Our pleasure. Thanks
Thanks,
again.
everyone.
Take a little break. All right, everybody, you're back, and we are going to go into our breakout sessions, our first breakout session of the day. So on the screen, you're going to see your major and the name of your college or the acronym of your college. This university loves acronyms, so I'm sure all other universities as well. So just know that if you're here for the College of Humanities, Arts, Behavioral, and Social Sciences, you'll just stay in this room. But for all others, you'll have your own breakout session for the College of Business Administration, the College of Education, Health and Human Services, and the College of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics, CSTEM. So you all have the opportunity to join your breakout rooms. Hosts, you all have co-host access. So you'll be able to join your breakout room and share your screens.
Hey there, Jay. I'm going to give it a few minutes before I share my screen.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Jay. Am I automatically going into a room or am I selecting a room?
You'll be able to select your room.
I am. I see rooms.
I've got Matt from my O team here. Matt, are we good? Do we have all
Yeah,
our
everyone's
rooms?
able to select their room. We
Okay.
can also move them if we need to.
Can you move me? Because I don't see like a C-STEM room.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put you in there.
Oh, thank you. There, I see it now.
Dr. Sun, how can we help? You good? You're on mute, Dr. Sun.
Can you move me to a cover room?
Yep.
I can't find it. Thank you.
That's okay. Matt, you're on it?
On it.
Thank you.
How about you, Shelby? You good?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that public health students should go to CEHHS as
Oh,
well.
smart. Thank you so much, Shelby.
Thanks.
Let's see. I'm checking any private. Oh, sorry, I missed that, Shelby. If you need help with moving to your room or don't know where your room is, just type your major, and we have Matt and a couple other O-teamers that have the ability to move you to the appropriate breakout session. I'm gonna do like a. Okay, O-teamers. Can't just be Matt. Let's move all these folks around. If you're.
Jay, can you put up the screen with the majors and colleges, please?
Yep. Oh, let me do that again. We good? Y'all can see it?
Yes, thank you.
I'm gonna give it like a minute. Sorry, Leo, we're eating into your time.
No, that's okay. Just a reminder to everybody that if you're in Chabs, you're going to stay here, so you don't need to move to a different room.
Thank you.
Also, are you getting a weird echo from me?
I did, but I also made you co-host on 2 devices, so to mute one of them.
Oh.
Let me check my chat. I think we're good. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, Leo, so you can take over. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Okay. All right, Leo, take it away for Chabs. This is your show.
Great. I'm just going to share my screen real quick. All right. Can you see my screen, everybody?
It's starting to load, I think. Yep, we can see it. Floor is
Excellent.
yours.
Okay, well, welcome to Cal State San Marcos. Welcome to CHABS, which is the College of Humanities, Arts, Behavioral, and Social Sciences. We are the largest college on campus. We teach just under 50% of the total instruction at CSUSM for each semester. So when I say we're big, we're pretty big. In fact, we have 23 majors. You saw the list of majors earlier. So you're coming in to a college within the university. I know it's a bit odd, but really it's just how we organize our academic majors or disciplines. So just keep that in mind. Every higher ed institution has colleges within universities, within colleges. So it's just a thing that we do. Now, we are affectionately known as CHABS. Sometimes that sounds like something you have to go to the health center for, so it seems a bit odd sometimes. But it is what it is. It's what you get when you get a whole bunch of academics in a room to put a name to it. So, but welcome to our college. I'll say the best college. I am a bit biased on that, but you are in a pretty awesome and amazing college, and I'll be sharing a little bit about why that's the case in a bit here. But before we get started, or as we get started, I'd like to remind folks, you've started your journey, right? And by the way, I was also a transfer student myself way back when, many moons ago. And trust me, it's going to go quickly. It may not feel like it at the moment, but it's going to go fast. So you have no time to waste. We want to get you connected, especially to faculty. In fact, that's going to be a running theme in my presentation today. To get you connected and make the most of your academic time with us here at Cal State San Marcos and in CHABS. And so many of you have the reason why, your why for being here, for going through all this, for jumping through these hoops, and that's great. And in fact, you need to have that why. You've been through some college already, so you know all about late nights studying and writing papers, reading academic texts, getting up early for that early morning class, or staying up late for that late class. You have to have your why to go through all that, right? And so you have to remember that. In fact, sometimes I have some of my students tell me that they put their why on a sticky note and put it on their vanity mirror. So it's the first thing they see in the morning and the last thing they see before going to bed. Because it's important. You have to remember that. So I'd like to add a little bit to your why in terms of talking about the value of education. And I'm not just talking about monetary value, but just, value in life. Okay. And so, it's really a liberal arts education that we're offering. And I know it's like, watch out, don't use that L word. But I'm not talking about a political liberal versus conservative. Okay. We're not talking about that spectrum at all. In fact, we have our Roman Greco heritage to thank for these terms, liberal arts. But it's important. And that is that liberal, when you think of liberal, I want you to think of freedom or being open to choice. Okay. And when you think of arts, yes, you're going to take some arts classes as part of the GE, but that's not what we mean necessarily. We mean that the arts in terms of skills or tools. And so the value of a liberal arts education is that you will come away with the skills and tools to be free, to be open to choice. Now, think about way back when, and in fact, this still happens today. Many of us, and I'll use myself as an example, are born into circumstances that without my education, I would still be in. I would be doing what my mother did, what my parents did. If it weren't for higher education. Higher education provided me with the skills and tools to choose a career and to go out and to do something different. And that's the case. I mean, you may know some people named Baker, last name Baker, or Campos, or last name Fields, or Smith, right? Those are all occupations. Those are all roles that they played in society. But here's the deal. They were born into it. and they had to do that because that's what their parents did, and their parents before them, and their parents before them. That's what their children were going to do, and their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren, because that was just how the world worked, right? Before higher ed came along. And so, so if you think, and it, you know, that work became so synonymous with that family for generations that it became their name. It became how they were known. So fast forward to a higher education, a liberal arts education in particular, where we can provide you with the skills and tools to be open to choice, to be free beyond just what you were born into. And by the way, you know, no shade on our ancestors and on our family, and you know the work that they've done. We stand on the shoulders of giants, right? You know, they've brought us to this point, and whatever journey that looks like, and in whatever way, shape, or form. So no shade on them, right? But it's important to note that this is an important part of your education and what you will come away with in receiving your degree. And I'll say, you know, this is true for Cal State San Marcos generally, but very much specifically in CHABS, every one of our 23 majors is really about preparing students for their future, whatever that future is. However you define success, that's up to you. You get to define it. We're here to support you and to provide you with the tools to be successful in that way. We're not, you know, we're not specifically preparing you for a career, okay, or a specific job. You know, that's voc ed, that's vocational ed. And again, no shade on them, right? They do great work and it's a great path to take. It's just not what we do, okay? We want to prepare you for a future, for your future, and a myriad futures, right? For each and every one of you. And here's the deal, folks. There are careers that don't yet currently exist that you will be taking on and navigating in your future. They don't currently exist. There's no way for us to prepare you for it. I mean, way back when I went to college, we didn't have this thing called social media, and now it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and lots of really great careers and opportunities. But there was no preparing anybody for that, right? Because it didn't exist. And that's going to be the case for all of you, right? Post-graduation, you know, whether that's immediately or in 5, 10, 15, 20 years out, the landscape is going to continue to change. And our job is to help prepare you to change with it, and not just change with it, but to innovate for it. To be leaders in that change. In fact, we've heard from some of our students, our alumni, through this thing. I don't know if any of you heard about this worldwide pandemic that we had a few years ago, right? It was a big deal, and you know, turned the world upside down. And you know, we were worried for our alumni and how they were faring. But several of them came back and told us, not only did I survive, did I do well, but I thrived and I was promoted because you know, my managers and my company, my organization saw you know, that I was able to think critically, to pivot, to innovate, and to be a leader in the change that was required. And so they actually did well, they did better, you know, and a credit to their liberal arts education. So just a bit about the value of education that you're receiving, and what we're hoping to prepare you with, what we plan to prepare you with as part of each of your degree programs, okay? So just keep that in mind. And again, each of you are going to have your own whys, and that's great too, right? You got to have that. Make it concrete, you know, put it in a nice in a sentence. Make it your own. So real quick, I'm going to go through this quickly for you. The anatomy of a degree, just so that we're all on the same page. This green part here that you see, you've completed most of that, and probably not all of it. In fact, I know not all of it, because we have some upper division GE requirements that you cannot take anywhere else but here. No community college for that. But that's most of your degree. This is the American style, by the way, of higher education, where you have that foundation, a pretty large foundation, right? About 50% of your degree is general ed, is breadth, is across the spectrum. And then what everybody always talks about, right, is your major. And so, you know, but it's really, you know, a sliver, right? It'll depend on which major you're in. So liberal studies is our major, one major that goes all the way to the top. It'll fill you all the way up. 120 units is the requirement for a degree. That's state law, by the way, black and white. We can't fudge that. Not 119, not 119 and a half. It's 120 units. Okay, that's the minimum. You can have more, of course. But I'll be honest and say that many of you will finish all of your GE, and then we'll finish all of your major and still not be at 120. And so that's where this gold or orange part comes through. And I have some ideas for you. So I'll share that in a little bit for you. So I'm just going to go through this real quick because I forgot to click through as I was talking to you. But GE, as I mentioned, is breadth and where we force you to take classes in all different areas. And then, of course, there's the major, the part that most people are most interested in and that we talk about the most. And basically, a major is just how we answer, how we perceive the world. It's perspective. It's how we ask and answer questions. And we're all going to be, each discipline, each major is going to have a different way of doing that, right? Of approaching things. So, we'll talk a little bit more about majors in a bit, but that's generally how it works. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we have these electives, these extra units that most of you will need to take to get to the 120. Okay, so here's a list of all of the majors. So as you saw earlier with the list that was posted, this should match. You should find your major here on this list. And if you don't, you probably need to be in a different room, but that's okay. You're here with me. So you should find your major here. So these are our 23 majors. And this is one of the big reasons why we have the best college, by the way, is because of we are large. We have a lot of majors, but also a diverse amount, right? Very different majors. And we bring everybody together in different ways and different shapes and sizes and, large programs, small programs, emerging programs, all kinds of really cool things that are happening that we can work interdisciplinarily, which is basically just we work between programs. And so you'll have that opportunity in most cases to benefit from that. Okay, so those are our majors and it's awesome. Now listen, we want you to learn more about your major, especially as a transfer student. You're coming in hot, right? You're coming in halfway through. You're going to be jumping into what I call the fun classes, the upper division courses. For most of you, the courses that are of interest to you, right? This is the reason why you chose this major. And so you have a couple of days now, right, until we start the semester on Tuesday, to do a little bit of research if you haven't already. I know some of you probably already have, but I have 3 suggestions here for you. One is go to your department and major website if you haven't already. So just go to csusm.edu and type in your major. And their website will be the top choice. Go to their website and peruse it. You'll read more about the major itself, about other programming that the department offers. In particular, I want you to go to the faculty listing, the directory, faculty directory, so you can learn more about the faculty. Okay, most departments they will have all their faculty listed, and some of them will have biographies. Some of them will have their own web pages that you can go to, their resumes. You can see what their academic interests are, what their research is, what classes they teach, their educational journey. And this is important because you might have already taken some classes in your major, and that's great, right? The prep for the major, lower division, but you're coming to our degree program on our campus, and it's different. And that's the case at every single institution of higher ed. You're going to have a different form, a different flavor of the major, right? So yes, you might be history, say, but history on our campus is different than the history on the campus that you came from, okay? And that's intentional. And the reason that happens is because of our faculty. We really lean on our faculty. They're the crux of it. Remember, I mentioned faculty, it's going to be a common thread here. But faculty are really your most important resource. They're the ones who develop the degree program. They're the ones who develop the courses and teach the courses. They're the PhD experts in the room, okay? So they're the ones who really, give us the distinct flavor of that degree program, of that major. And so you definitely want to get to know them and learn more about their work, their interests, and that'll help you navigate through the major. And remember, you don't have a lot of time. You got to hit the ground running. So I want you to really learn more about them and then reach out to them, get to know them, ask to meet with them. so that you can build that connection and start getting to know them. You can also go to the university catalog. That will have a description of your degree programs, of the departments. It has a listing of classes that we teach in the major, in the department, and all that fun stuff. And as I mentioned, faculty are really your number one resource. They're going to be the best thing for you to do, the best place for you to go for any assistance when it comes to your major, especially. And so, by the way, when I talk about connecting with faculty, I mean connect with them across the board, not just the faculty who are teaching your classes this semester. Okay, so yes, connect to them. You definitely want to make sure to go to office hours, ask questions about the class and the courses, the assignment, and all that. But I want you to reach out. You can send emails. You can go to their offices and check out their office hours. Faculty on our campus are advisors as well. Okay, so faculty advise. So you have two advisors. You're going to be meeting with an academic staff advisor later today as part of orientation, but I'm talking about faculty advising. Okay, and they advise on the major, on the discipline, the field. They can talk to you about careers. They can talk to you about other opportunities like internships, study abroad, research in their labs or within their work. Faculty have a lot of opportunities that come from and through them. But the only way they can connect you with those is if they know who you are, right? And so you need to get to know them, and then they'll get to know you, and then you'll be able to benefit from that connection in lots of ways, including letters of rec and faculty mentorship, especially if you're interested in going to graduate school, which, by the way, if no one has told you, is attainable, is an option for every single one of you, okay? With the education and preparation that you're going to receive as part of your degree program with us here in CHABS and at Cal State San Marcos, you're going to be well prepared for graduate school. So that's getting a master's degree or even a doctoral degree, all right? And that's definitely achievable for all of you, for every single one of you. I can tell you that now. Listen, I've been doing this for over 20 years, working with students. And I see the potential, even for students who have never heard about it, never thought about it. Sometimes you might go to a career after graduation, that's fine. But then later decide to go back, that's cool too. So just know that you will be prepared for that. That is definitely an option. And if you don't know anything about it, ask your faculty. They'd love to help you with that, okay? Now, remember that gold orange area that I noted about your degree? Well, this is my suggestion for you is depending on how many units, okay? So I'll be honest and say minors are not for everybody. It is more work. It could mean more time. But I think it's a very real option, a very real possibility for you in many of our CHABS majors. And so what is a minor, right? A minor is a degree program that's smaller, hence minor, right? Versus a major. Major is larger, right? And so this is typically 18 to 20 units. It'll depend on which minor you choose. You can use that non-major elective portion to get to, you have to take classes anyway to get to 120. You might as well package them up into a minor. It's also a really great way to customize your education, right? If you find that you're interested in more than one area, you can then connect with that secondary area, not as a major, although you could do a double major if you wanted to. Again, more work and possibly more time, but up to you. But it's really a great way to customize. And I encourage students to search this out, to think about this, and to make it a meaningful addition to your resume, to your degree program, to your education. You want to integrate it to your future plans. So, sometimes I get, future teachers who take an arts class, or I've had some future counselors who take arts classes and get an art minor because they want to bring art into the work of art therapy, right? Or into the classroom with their teaching. That's one example of very, very many, lots across the board. In fact, we have 35 different minors that we can offer you. And so real popular ones that I often recommend is Spanish or German or French, especially if you're going to stay in the area. Spanish is really great, but if you're going to travel the world, right, these languages can be really helpful to you, and they might help you stand out from other candidates who are seeking employment, right, who are applying for positions. I'll also say that communication is really popular, especially the critical intercultural communication. This actually came from employers, from organizations and companies who said, listen, we need students who can communicate across boundaries, and that's cultures, right? Cultures can mean different things, different age groups, people living from different areas, coming from different areas. So don't just think like international or national, but culture can be defined in many different ways. And companies are hiring students who come in with that because they don't want to invest in the training themselves. And so if you come in and say, yeah, I already know how to do this work and I have this experience, that's great, right? Another real popular one these days is sustainability, the sustainability minor. Again, this one is coming from the community, where a lot of companies and organizations want to go green these days, right? And so they may hire you for whatever job you're interested in doing and you're applying for, but you can also say, hey, I have some experience and knowledge in sustainability matters. And so they're like, oh, great. I've had some students come back and tell me that in their interviews, that they spent more time talking about their minor because the employer was asking about it than they did their major. And that makes sense, right? Because almost all of the other people who are applying for those jobs probably have the same, if not so similar majors. In fact, the hiring manager might have the same or similar major. And so they know all about it already. But when you come in with something different, something additive, right? Something above and beyond, that's might pique their interest, right? And then they want to learn more about it. So lots of different options, lots of different ways for you to customize your education. But again, make it meaningful, integrate it with what you plan to do with your future so that you can make the most of your time with us here. Okay, so something for you to keep in mind as you think about, as you land here at CSUSM and in CHABS, we have lots of options here for you in terms of majors. I've talked a little bit already about employability and about your future career, because whatever you go on to do, however you define success, we want you to be able to pay your bills, right? We want you to pay your rent and provide for your families, go grocery shopping, those kinds of things. And I need to update this actually. This is from 2024, so I apologize for that. But this list of top 9 attributes has not changed very much in over a decade. This is a survey that goes out nationally to Fortune 500 giant corporations, as well as mom and pop shops throughout the nation, and several here in our community. And this is consistently what they come back to us with to say, this is what we're hiring for. This is what we're looking for in students. And so we have been very intentional in building these skills, these attributes into every one of our CHABS degree programs, okay? So because again, we want you to, be employable. We want you to be able to, pay your bills and so on. And so, you have to forgive us when we force you to be on a group. That's usually the thing. I get the moans and groans and eye rolling every time I say group, group activity. But that's because we want you to have, we want to introduce you to, we want to give you some experience and learn how to navigate teamwork, because this is what your employer, your future careers are going to require of you, okay? Including writing. We have you write a lot on our campus. We have writing across the curriculum, but that's because people have told us that that's a huge skill set that employers are looking for in their employees as they're hiring. So these are very important. So all of these are going to be built into the curriculum, into the classes that you're going to be taking with us. Some of them might be all in one class. Some of them might be spread across multiple classes. It just depends on the degree and the degree program. But you will have this skill set when you graduate. Every one of our CHABS students do. So something to be prepared for, certainly, but also to be proud of, I think, when you move on. And now I've mentioned this a couple of times already, but again, faculty are really your number one resource here, and great way to get through. Yes, through the classes and through your coursework and education, but also beyond that, right? Like I mentioned, a lot of opportunities. But what we know is that students who build those connections, the mentorship relationship with faculty, tend to do better, and in this case, twice as likely to end up in leadership positions, but also to navigate, to get through, to be more successful, to meet their goals. So, and that's what we want for all of you. So please, our faculty, the reason they work here is because they love to connect and work with students. So please don't be shy. Reach out to them, go to office hours. You can send them an email to set up an appointment. Many of them will meet you over Zoom if that's more convenient. Just connect with them early and often. All right. So don't be shy about that. Just reach out. Trust me, faculty have devoted their lives to this work, to teaching, to the research, to their discipline. It's like their baby, right? And so they love talking about their baby. So feel free to just ask them about it. Let them know, hey, I'm a new transfer student to CSUSM. I'd love to learn more about your research or about the degree, the program, whatever. That's all you have to say, and the faculty will talk your ear off. They really love to connect with students and to share. Right? They want you to drink the Kool-Aid. They want you to get all in. To the what they've devoted their lives to. So don't be shy. Please reach out. That's my number one resource. And again, I've mentioned faculty mentorship. In the few minutes that we have remaining here, I just want to go over a couple of things. Right? Yes, you want to connect with your faculty. Early and often, as I've mentioned multiple times now, we also have something called service learning, and this is built into the courses, and it's faculty specific, faculty driven. So it'll depend on which faculty member you have, but this is really big on our campus, and so most of our departments have service learning. It's like community service as a function or as an assignment, a part of a course that you're taking. Okay. You know about internships. I'm sure you've heard about internships. And so you should really start thinking about that. In some cases, I've had some students from the time that they've made the decision, I want to be in an internship, to the time they start that internship can be as much as a year, a whole year. Okay. So not always, but you want to think about that. And if that's something you can pull off and that you're interested in, then by all means, let's start having conversation. Again, you can connect with the faculty in your department, or you can go to the Career Center. They have an office of internships there. Okay. Undergraduate research. This is a big deal for us here at Cal State San Marcos, and I'll say in CHABS in particular. Research is huge, and in other universities, it's reserved only for graduate students, for master's level, for PhD, doctoral level. But on our campus, we really pride ourselves in opening up research opportunities for students who are getting their bachelor's degree. So that's all of you, right? And so go to the department websites to learn more, talk to the faculty to learn more, and just say, I'm interested in doing some undergraduate research. Do you know of any opportunities that are available? Again, faculty are not going to just give it willy-nilly, right? They're going to need to know you. You're going to need to know them, right, to make sure that you're working with them. So just consider some of these opportunities, study abroad, joining some student clubs. We have lots of academic orgs in CHABS. And just remember, there's lots of resources, lots of services that we offer students. Please take advantage of them. You got to walk in, you got to meet us halfway, send an email, come into our office, reach out so that we can make the most of all the services that we have to offer you. So I think we're at time now, so I'm going to turn it back over to the orientation folk as I stop sharing my screen. So congratulations and welcome again to Cal State San Marcos. Take care, y'all.
Thank you so much, Leo. I am starting to see folks coming back. Let's see. It looks like there's still some folks in breakout rooms. Technically, we've got a few more minutes before I shut down the other breakout rooms and force everyone back to join our space. Anyone want to share what they learned from your specific breakout rooms or from Leo?
Happy to take any questions. I know we went fast, so.
No, it's all good. Thank you. I'm just trying to open up the floor and allow the other folks in the breakout rooms to finish up. Because after this, we'll be joining our academic advising sessions. Is there still? Okay. I'm going to start closing the room to just force everyone to slow their conversations down in that last minute. Hopefully it still gives them a full minute. Let's see. If not, it's their fault. 60 seconds. Okay, so they'll have a full minute before they all have to come back. So it looks like you just joined. This is the last day for orientation. We had an in-person orientation a couple days ago. And today is our opportunity online to allow folks that couldn't attend the in-person one to attend today's orientation online. There is a part 2. So today is part 1. Part 2 is your go-to orientation, and go-to orientation is a series of modules with lots of additional content. There are state and federal mandates that we are required to give you during orientation. And if we were to try and give it to you all in one day, you'd be here till 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and then you would not like choosing Cal State San Marcos. So we love you. So that's why we have 2 parts. The other one is go to orientation, and you could do that on your own. You could do it on your phone. You could take it with you. You could do it at work during your break. But this particular orientation will be ending at 12. So from 11:30 to 12, we'll have separate breakout rooms for from some of our earlier guest speakers to answer any of your additional questions. So let's see. Before we go into academic advising, I want to thank our presenters, Leo, Dr. Sohn, Dr. Heisler, Dr. Euler for being here and helping our students understand the specific college overviews. Now it looks like, make sure I'm staying on top of my time. We've got a good little break here, so I'm going to give you a 5-minute break, y'all. At 10:45, we'll be back in the main room will be academic advising overall, but let me make sure I'm sharing my screen. You should be able to see my screen. Well, go back. If you don't, yo, give me a second. Sorry. Let me share my screen. Click, click, click. You have seen the screen before. Yes, you can see your majors. Come on. We're going to stay in this main room for all students that are meeting with academic advising overview. If you're in CHABS or College of Education, Health and Human Services, you'll stay in this room at 10:45. We'll come back into this room, and then everyone else that's in College of Business Administration or CSTEM, you'll be meeting in your own separate breakout rooms with your own academic advising team member. So take a quick little break. We're going to be back at 10:45, and we'll help you find your breakout room if you're unaware of where your college or where your major falls in what college. We're here to assist you. So we're going to give you a little break. We'll see you at 10:45. All right, we're getting ready to get into our breakout rooms. But before we do that, let me see if I can stop sharing that. Let me share. Okay. Yeah. Oh, technology. Gotta love it. I just wanted to share before we go into the breakout rooms from 11:30 to 12. These folks will be available to assist you for any further additional comments or questions that you may have. Just know that at 11:30 to 12, there's going to be breakout sessions with these university campus partners. Please know you pay tuition and fees. Those fees are a lot of the folks that you see on the screen. Please don't be that graduating student that becomes aware of a fee they've paid thousands of dollars for on graduation day. And it just really pains us to hear that you didn't know that you paid for a unique service or resource. So just know that there's going to be these folks at 11:30 to 12 to assist you. We're going to go into breakout rooms now. You should have the ability to, yep. Please go to your academic advising rooms based on your major. If you're in CHABS for the College of Education, Health and Human Services, you'll be staying here in this main room with Lizbeth, and I'm not going to butcher all of your last name, or Kenya. And then COBA has Jeff as their academic advisor, and CSTEM has Kitsia. So students, please move to your session with your academic advisor. Please know that you did not just meet with an academic advisor in the previous session. You met with a subject matter expert, a faculty member of their college, and one of them was the associate dean of the college for your particular majors. This session that you're walking into or going into is your academic advisors. Academic advisors are the ones that help you check all the boxes so you can graduate. So these are the folks that you want to meet with quite often, especially as you get closer to the end of your major, so that you can have all your boxes checked to graduate on time. I'm gonna ask out loud to the room. Let's see, do I have Lizbeth? Let's make you co-host. Confirm. Let me make sure we've got all our people with all of their co-host access. Lizbeth, you should have control of this room now. Jeff Green, you should have the ability to move into your COBA session breakout room. O-teamers, please assist in moving our staff, Jeff Green, to his COBA breakout room. If Kitsia is still in this room, please move Kitsia to CSTEM. And then I'm looking for Kenya. Yeah. Yep, I found you. Let's make you co-host. I see Lizbeth in here already, so she's solid. Make sure I'm checking my chats to make sure I didn't miss anything, any direct messages. If you don't know what your room is, please put your room in the chat, and the O-teamers will be able to move you to the appropriate breakout room with your academic advisor. Yes, so please just put your major, and we'll be able to move you behind the scenes. Let's give it another 15 seconds. Some folks are still posting their majors. We'll start moving you around. Some other folks are still posting their majors, so give us a second while we move those students to their academic advising sessions. Liberal studies, stay in this room. The ones that I know for sure, I'll just say, stay in this room. Or comm stays in this room. Oh, that's communication. Yes, you stay in this room. Kinesiology, that's College of Education, Health and Human Services. So somebody will be moving you shortly. Actually, no. College of Education, Health and Human Services is in this room, Sergio. It's the main room. Criminology? Nope. Criminology is this room. I think we're done. Okay, let's let Elizabeth and Kenya take it away. You all will be covering CHABS and College of Education, Health and Human Services. So the show is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
Good morning, everybody. So my screen looks probably different than yours, but thumbs up, Liz, if you can see the PowerPoint. Can you thumbs up for me? Like with your actual finger, because I don't know where my other screen went. I don't know if it's showing or not.
We're good. I think
We can see you. We've got it.
Okay, nice, thank you. I don't know where my other screen went, but okay, as long as you can see the PowerPoint and me, we're good. So my name is Kenya Monroy. I'm a senior academic advisor here at Cal State San Marcos.
And then I'm Lisbeth Urquiza. I'm also an academic advisor here at Cal State San Marcos.
And so we represent today the entire Office of Academic Advising. There is quite a few advisors here, given that we have so many awesome students now. And so as you're here at Cal State San Marcos, we are here to support you. We're here to help you understand the tools and resources you have. And we're also kind of a person that you can come to, shall you have any questions about anything else. We will try our best to find you the right place for you to go to, depending on your question, right? That may be with us if it's regarding your academics, graduation requirements. It may be a different office. It may be the department, which I hear you previously met before this session here. So we're going to share a little bit about what our office does, the types of questions that students typically come to our office for. We're also going to discuss probably the most important thing, considering you all are new students, is enrollment and the resources that you have and the tools, and how we all can also help you figure that out, what classes you need. And then we'll also share where you can find us if after this session you have additional questions, but not necessarily an advising appointment that you want to schedule, right? And so we'll go over those things. We are going to hold questions probably to the end, and then we'll also provide some information as to who you can address maybe more personalized questions that you have regarding your specific degree or your records. We'll share with you an email address that where that can be sent to, okay? So it seems like most of the students here, and in fact, all of the students here are part of our CHABS, which is a College of Humanities, Arts, Behavior, and Social Sciences. So the way that we are kind of divided here or organized at Cal State San Marcos is every specific major is housed under a specific college. So we have the College of Business, which that was Jeff, which you saw earlier if you were in here. He's an advisor for COBA. We have the College of Education, Health and Human Services. We also have the CHABS College, and then lastly, the College of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. So depending on your specific major, you're going to go under one of these colleges. Yes, it's important to kind of be aware of. You don't have to remember specifically, right? Because when you come to our office, we'll direct you in the appropriate college that you belong to. But this really does pertain to your major. And this is kind of where your house, where you kind of belong. It may be that you may change your major, and that may change where you're housed. These are a list of the majors that are currently housed under CHABS. So all of you should be seeing your major in this list here on the left. If you do see your name in the list, you're in the right room. If you don't see your major in the list, then you might be in the wrong breakout room. Regardless, though, we're going to, for the most part, share the general information that's the same. There may be some slides that may be specific to your major, and then again at the end we'll share an email address where you can reach out to us directly shall you have any questions that you didn't get covered today because you're in the wrong room. So one of the, it's not necessarily an official major, but if you're undeclared, which most of the students here I believe are not because y'all are transfer, But if at any point you do go as undeclared, then you don't necessarily have a house. You kind of belong to everybody because you're floating around trying to pick a major, right? So for me specifically, I am an advisor for criminal justice studies, economics, ethnic studies, sociology, Spanish, women gender studies, and I think that's it. Do you want to share, Liz, who you kind of advise?
Yes. So just so you know, anyone who's a CAS student, which is human development, kinesiology, nursing, and public health, or undeclared is still part of this room. I advise majors for kinesiology, art, media, and design, music, and theater.
Yes. So every single advisor here within our office is assigned to a specific major or multiple majors like we've shared here. So when you make an appointment with us, which we'll discuss later, or even if you show up to one of our 3 front desks, we will make sure you belong to the right place in terms of visiting with your academic advisor. Let's move on. This is our team. Like I shared, every advisor has a few majors that they advise, and so that will be who you will be meeting with when you come to our office and make a formal appointment, or you come for a drop-in. So we have quite a strong and mighty team here, and we will do our best to help you out. And then again, if you change your major, it may be that you change advisors, right? We also have 3 intake advisors who service students at our front desk and are able to help with general questions and or referring you to other departments as best fit, depending on your question. Okay. Okay. So one of our biggest roles is to explain graduation requirements and help students track your academic progress to graduation. So this can be via what we're doing right now in orientation, kind of introducing the Office of Academic Advising to you all, or it may be during a workshop that we might house during the regular academic semester, or it may be when you come into our office for an academic advising appointment. We also help with planning for future semesters. We use the degree planner to help students navigate what their upcoming semesters are going to look like, their course load, unit loads. If they do want to take a semester, what that would look like in terms of your breakdown for your upcoming semesters. So we really help students navigate kind of the planning. The degree planner tool is also a nice resource because it does also note to students the courses and when they're usually taught, so that, you know, if for any reason there's a specific requirement that you need and it's only taught in the fall semesters, then we can help you plan for that as well in there. We also, the degree planner is a enrollment tool like the ARR grad eval is, and Liz later on will go into a little bit of detail as to the different types of tools, but we really help you navigate them. Realistically, students are, it is their main duty to self-enroll.
This is weird.
Oh, I'm echoing.
You're unmuted.
So students are responsible for self-enrolling. That means that advisors do not have the ability to add or drop students from classes. So it's really important that you get a hang of things in terms of enrollment tools. And so we're here to help you navigate that. We also explain campus policies and procedures. Aside from, you know, getting good grades, maintaining a 2.0 GPA, there are some additional policies that go into play with you being a student here at San Marcos. And so we also help explain those to students and where you can refer to those. We also, shall you come to us with any specific scenarios, such as a professor issued an incomplete, what does that mean? And then we just kind of break down what the policy means, kind of your rights that you have as a student here. And so we also help you support through those and through that information and the process that you may have to follow, depending on that specific policy or procedure. And lastly, like I continue to mention, we're also here to direct you to other campus resources. Often when we have students planning for their upcoming semesters, a lot of their planning is related to financial aid, right? Or financially what they're able to afford, how many units, or if they have to work more and have to decrease their units. A lot of the time students have very specific financial aid questions, which we cannot answer. So that's a situation in which we refer students over to the financial aid office. So there's, I would say, three main ways for you to connect with your academic advisor. The first one is through eAdvisor. This is that email address I've been referring to since the beginning of the presentation, where you can send an email and it comes into our main advising inbox. And then based on your assigned major, it gets sent directly to your advisor. So an advisor is directly responding to your question. One important thing to know, if you haven't already, which I really hope you have already, considering that you're transfer students and are kind of familiar with a college system, even though it was a different institution, you will have a specific campus email here at CSUSM. Use it since the point that you've been admitted and you officially have an ID number with us, because this is the main campus, this is the main email address our campus will use to communicate with you. And so when we respond to the eAdvisor, that's your email address that we will be responding to. Another way to connect with an advisor is through a scheduled appointment. Year round, we are operationally here spring, summer, and fall semester. So we're here year round. And so throughout that year long period, you can schedule a 30-minute advising appointment. We throw our schedules out on the database, my CSUSM appointments website, every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, we roll out our schedule for the following 2 weeks. And lastly, it could be through drop-in advising. So starting next Tuesday, which next Tuesday is the first day of the spring semester. I know it's kind of funky, but next Tuesday is the first day of the spring semester. We have drop-ins, and we offer our drop-ins during the ag drop periods every semester. So for the spring semester, that's January, and then we'll have them again in April to prepare for fall enrollment. And then in the fall, we'll have them when school starts for the fall semester, right? So during those 2 weeks, we offer drop-in advising. It's first come, first serve. So basically, it's kind of like when you check into the DMV and you're issued a number and you wait for your number to be called. The drop-in list is first come, first serve. So as you sign up, we take you in the order that you've signed up in. We're only allowed to see you in 15-minute intervals. So you really have a more condensed meeting period than through a scheduled appointment. So we really advise you that if your question you think your response is great via email, then do an eAdvisor. If you want more of a dedicated time frame, come to schedule an advisor appointment. Or if it's a quick, like you just need to go one quick question, you need to be shown something on a screen, come in for a drop-in advising session. During the time that we have drop-ins, we don't offer appointments though, because we're busy trying to, service our students that are coming in. Yeah, and then our website is pretty good about letting you know, hey, we don't have appointments right now. We're only doing drop-ins, or here is the appointment link to schedule your appointment. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we have our intake advisors. There's 3 of them who are supported by our incredible peer advisors, which are students. And they are in charge of helping students who come to our physical or virtual front desk with any general questions, or maybe they just need assistance with making an appointment, and they can totally help with that. They also help students sign up for drop-ins. If you're curious about that, and this is probably something you're going to do next week. They are also... let me see, sorry. They are located in 3 different locations, or front desk. Well, 4. There's 4 locations where you can find an advising front desk. The first one is in the administration building on the 1st floor, right next to the Career Center. The second location is Markstein Hall, which is for the business students. So that's business student advising. The third location is University Hall 221. And then the 4th location is our virtual front desk through Microsoft Teams. So there's 3 different places physically, and 4th place virtually, where you can find a front desk, you can find an intake advisor or a peer advisor to reach out and help you. And if you don't know where to go or where to start, but you need to reach academic advising, that is our phone number here. And then we can help you find the correct place. A lot of the times, because we're in 3 locations, students are like, I totally forgot where I'm supposed to go for my appointment. Just give us a call. Or maybe, you're getting stuck in traffic, or just call us. We've helped students through so many types of situations. It's even been as simple as like, I want Starbucks, so I can't find it. Where is it? We were here to help you. Okay. This is typically, so if you're thinking, okay, I really want to see an academic advisor, but I don't have an urgent question for drop-ins because I'm good, I'm solid, I'm enrolled in classes. We have students see us maybe like, to begin with, seeing an academic advisor is not mandatory, it's optional. And with that being said, we are also unlimited in the times that you can see us. Some students see us about once a semester, some students see us once a year, some students never see us until it's like 2 weeks before graduation and they come and see us. It'll all depend on you and what your comfort level is, but know that we're here as a resource for you. These are typically the services that you'll see throughout the year in terms of the semesters. So in the fall term, it's your first day of classes in August. Again, we have our drop-in periods the first 2 weeks of every semester. And then in the fall, we also help prepare you for spring enrollment, which happens in November. And then at that point, we have drop-in advising. So anytime you're adding classes or the enrollment period has started, that's kind of like a trigger, like, oh, advising has drop-ins. In the spring, which is the semester we're currently in, classes begin next Tuesday. I'm highly emphasizing that because we've had students show up to campus on that holiday. That's Monday. They're like, where's everybody? So again, classes for spring begin on Tuesday. We have drop-in advising for those 2 weeks. And then in April, you're going to prepare to enroll for the fall semester. And the summer term, we're fully operational. However, our drop-in period is now strictly for those new students or transfer students. And then the entire summer, we have scheduled appointments. Summer, I think, is a great time for students to come in and plan their next 2, 3, 4 years with us. It's a great time to talk about maybe minoring, double major, because we're able to give you more of that, 30-minute window. And it's not during an enrollment period, so really we can focus on these questions that you have for the year, the semesters ahead. Of course, you can do that year round, but if you were to ask me, I think summer is a great opportunity to start planning for that new academic year. And then again, all year we offer appointments. They are released on a 2-week basis. And where can you find our website? So if you were to grab your phone right now and scan that beautiful QR code, or I believe Liz will also put it in the chat, our website link. And this is where you can find our front desk, our virtual, the locations, our e-advisor. You can schedule an appointment. You can read more about our peer advisors. It also directly links you to graduation, where to apply for graduation, specific forms. I believe it's a cool website to kind of explore through. I think it's a great idea for you to bookmark it, whether it's your phone or your laptop, because questions will arise. Even though you may think you have your thing, locked in and everything seems pretty clear for you, there could be questions that arise. We've also seen students who come to us with questions about grading and professors, or just helping kind of break down a syllabus. We're here to help with that too. Okay. And then this is how it looks on a mobile device. This is what it looks like on a laptop computer, okay? And like I said, on the left-hand side here, you'll see about our office, how to connect with an advisor, set up an appointment, e-advisor, or drop-in times, as well as resources to, directly correlated to your requirements, and kind of explaining the requirements that we have here at San Marcos. Okay. And then I think this is where Liz will now go into depth about the several enrollment resources that you have, how to use them, how to navigate through them, and how we can help with that.
Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now and see. 1 second. I'm going to make sure I'm showing the right one. All right, so I know that it seems that it was a little bit small, for the first part of the presentation. I just want to make sure that students can see the screen now, and that hopefully it's a little bit bigger than what it was looking like before. If it's still small, please let me know. I'm not sure if it's still a little bit small. But let's go ahead and get started about enrollment. So enrolling in courses in CSUSM. So this is the time where you are going to be doing enrollment in classes. By this time, almost everyone should have enrolled into courses as enrollment started back in December. However, again, if you haven't enrolled into classes, we can still help you. There's still time to add courses into your spring schedule. First, I know typically it's in person, so I get to ask who has enrolled in classes, but I can't actually see hands at this point. So in case you haven't enrolled into classes, you can go back and watch our enrollment tutorial. It's going to guide you on how to enroll into classes. It's a really quick tutorial. It takes about 10 minutes to complete, but this tutorial will go in depth about how to add classes and the enrollment tools that you'll be using every semester at CSUSM. Again, we have promoted this enrollment tutorial quite a bit, so you should have watched it by this point, but if you haven't, I highly, highly recommend that you go back and watch it. It is posted on our advising website under New Student Advising. I would highly recommend that you watch the enrollment tutorial because it's going to go more in depth into the next couple of slides that I'm going to be covering briefly. But first, let me, okay. Oh, sorry, went to last. Okay, enrollment tools at CSUSM that students can use to enroll into classes. First is your academic requirement report. All of these tools are found through your MyCSUSM. Again, you should all be able to access your MyCSUSM. They're all located on your student center on the top left side of your screen. The first one is the academic requirement report. So this report, it's a lengthy report, but it's specific to you as a student and to your records. This will keep track of everything that you need to complete to graduate from CSUSM. First, anything that you see in green means you've met, anything that you see in red means you're missing, and once you've enrolled in courses, they should appear as yellow because you're currently in progress for those courses. Again, this is what our office and the Office of the Registrars will utilize to make sure that you've completed everything that you need for your major. By the time you apply for graduation, you should see no red boxes in your ARR. If for whatever reason you see something red, that's your that time that you should definitely connect with advising because we want to make sure that you're meeting everything for graduation. The other enrollment tool that most of you are more familiar with is a degree planner. This is the tool that will show you semester by semester what you should be enrolling in. And again, the tutorial will go more in depth about different features that the degree planner holds. But degree planner is flexible in case you want to do more courses, less courses, etc. And then again, you can always meet with us and we can help you create a plan in terms of arranging your future semesters to what fits you as a student. And the schedule assistant is the tool that helps you build the schedule. It does all the hard work for you, builds all potential schedule depending on the courses that you're looking for. Or again, as transfer students, some of you are more comfortable building schedules on your own, like by searching courses one by one. But please, if you do that option, make sure that you're still following the degree planner recommendations for courses. Okay. So let's talk about degree set go. So what does every semester look like in terms of enrollment? Every semester, both fall and spring, the first 2 weeks of school, you're going to get an email from the university asking you to update your future semester. And I know it's a little bit wonky because you're just starting, but we're already asking you to think ahead. Mainly what we're looking for is for you to let us know how many units you plan on doing next semester. And the reason being is but the university starts building the next semester schedule since the start of the spring. So in the start of the spring, you need to let us know how many units you want to take next fall so that university plans accordingly and offers enough sections for students. And then enrollment takes place for fall semesters in November, and then for spring semesters, so this upcoming spring, in April, that's when the enrollment for fall will take place. That's when the schedule gets published. That's when you get your enrollment date assigned by the university. Again, that will be sent to your student email. It's specific to you as a student, so make sure you are aware of your specific enrollment date and time. And then at that point, that's when you can start looking at your degree planner again for next semester and then choosing the courses that you're interested in taking, looking at schedule options, loading your shopping cart, and then on your enrollment date and time. It is crucial for everyone to enroll in their specific enrollment date and time to be able to secure seats in their courses. That's when you would go in and just complete the enrollment process through your MyCSUSM. Other enrollment tools that you will utilize as a student throughout your time at CSUSM is, again, most of transfer students are more familiar with the term Canvas. Here at CSUSM, you may hear the term career courses or Canvas intermediately. That's still the same thing that you would use through your community college, and that's where your courses will be published, where the professor will post the syllabus, course requirements, and where you will submit your assignments. You can find that on the Campus apps. It's career courses, and it will take you to the Canvas link. Again, right now, you may potentially by now see a couple of courses for the spring, but just so you know, professors, some professors post it earlier, some of them don't post it until the day that you meet for classes. But again, keep checking between now and the start of when your classes start. By then, you should be able to see Canvas. If you happen to not see the course that you're enrolled in, you would want to reach out to your professor and see if he's made the course published or public for students who are enrolled into the course. And then student email, again, Kenya already mentioned this, but it's really, really important for you all to access your student email. If you email academic advising with your personal email, we would bounce that email back and ask you to send it directly through your student email. Same thing, most professors or any office that you're trying to reach through the university will ask you to email directly via your student email. And then the other enrollment tool that you would recommend, and I recommend that you download into your computer, phone, or etc., and log in with your student credentials, is Microsoft Teams. That's where you can access our advising office in case you're not on campus but still need to connect with advising. We do have a front desk on Teams, or you can always schedule appointments virtually through Microsoft Teams as well, if it works a little bit better for you. Now, important dates. Again, the start of the spring semester is around the corner, meaning it is coming up next week on Tuesday. So I saw someone post about this. Remember that Monday is a holiday. We don't start school on Monday. It's Martin Luther King on Junior Day. So our official start of the spring semester is on Tuesday, 20th. So if you happen to have any classes that meet on Monday, you won't meet until the next time that is scheduled on your schedule. So be mindful of that. Don't come to school on Monday because it's going to be closed and it's going to be empty. Make sure you show up on Tuesday if that's the first day that your classes meet. First is, again, this has already passed, but if you needed to pay tuition and fees, that deadline was this week on the 13th. If you have questions about financial aid or making payments, you would want to connect with the financial aid office as soon as possible. And then January 20th, again, first day of classes. And then we'll talk about waitlisting in a couple of seconds, but January 20th through January 2nd, that's the add period. That means that you could still technically add courses into your schedule during the first 2 weeks of the semester, and then the drop period. So you technically have up until the 4th week of the semester, the deadline being February 15th, to drop any course that you're enrolled in with no academic record. So nothing ever indicating that you were ever enrolled into that course. All right, so let's go over some frequently asked questions for transfer students. First is, what should I do if I haven't enrolled into courses? If you happen to have not enrolled into courses by now or are still looking for classes to add into your schedule, first, again, really pushing this, the enrollment tutorial, it's a great tool. I would recommend that you start there. If you still need help after that, that's where advising comes into play. You can connect with our advisors. Again, if anyone hasn't enrolled into courses by this point, you may want to check your student email. Advising probably has reached out a couple of times already, trying to connect with you to assist you with enrollment. Again, I would say after our session, log in and make sure that you check your email to see if there's any notifications from advising. If not, we'll talk about other methods that you can connect with us. Again, the next one being drop-ins. So tomorrow's our last appointment-based day. If you don't see an appointment available for tomorrow and you're like, I need to speak with an advisor, that in that case, Tuesday would be our first day of drop-ins, and that's where you would want to come in to meet with an academic advisor. What if the classes on my degree planner are showing us full? Again, at this point, it is really close to the start of the semester. Some of the courses that you may see in your degree planner may be showing up as full. That's where waitlisting comes into place, but there's other open general education courses that are required for all majors. That's your upper division general education courses, your diversity and equity requirements by the university, Those you should still be able to find open sections for those. And again, if you need help kind of identifying what courses would meet those areas, you can come to advising and we can help you with that. The other option is, again, rearranging your degree planner, which the enrollment tutorial shows you how to arrange your degree planner. But again, if needed, and if you still need help, that's you would want to connect with your academic advisor. And waitlisting. This is really important at this point in the semester. Oh, something happened. I think I lost signal. Let me stop sharing. Looks like my presentation is not live anymore.
I can share my screen. I don't know why it was so little last time.
Yes.
Hopefully it's not as little. Let's see. Oh, I know why. Okay. I think this is big now.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Let's go through here, right here. Okay, there we go.
Right there. All right, so waitlisting. Again, by this point, it's almost the start of the semester. So some of the courses that you may see in your degree planner may be marked as full. This is where waitlisting would be really important. To waitlist the course, you actually need to let the system know that you want to waitlist, and you would do so in your shopping cart by indicating on the little check mark waitlist if class is full. If you don't check mark that, the system won't know that you want to be added into the waitlist, so it won't never place you into the waitlist. But if you mark that and then complete the enrollment process, proceed to step 2 of 3 and finish enrolling, then you'll get a confirmation with a green check mark saying that you've been added to the waitlist, and it will tell your waitlist position. You can view your waitlist position on your My Class schedule under List View. It will say waiting as the status because you're waitlisted, and then your position. It is really important for you to monitor your waitlist position. It's also important to waitlist even though there's a big waitlist, because sometimes if there's a lot of, or the departments see that there's a high demand for courses, there could be a chance that they may potentially add new sections. Not a guarantee, but it's good for the college to see that there's a demand for courses. Let's see. It's also important to note that if you are, let's say, position 1, someone drops a class, the waitlist gets run at midnight. So you will get an email if you're added from the waitlist. The other thing is, once Tuesday hits, the waitlist is no longer ran, meaning that if someone drops the class in the first week of school and you're position 1 on the waitlist, you won't automatically get added because it stops running once the semester starts. At that point, you would want to do what we call crashing, which I'll talk about a little bit in the next 2 slides, on how to crash courses if you're still waitlisted on courses by the first day of classes and how that works. See. Okay. And yeah, can I have you go to the next slide? Oh, perfect. So how does enrollment start once the first day of classes start for the semester? First, again, reminder, you won't be added through the waitlist. If you're waitlisted, the waitlist stops running the first day of classes. So that would mean crashing, which is the term that we use here at CSUSM. You will hear the term crashing, and that means that if you're waitlisted and you're really interested in that class, you will show up to the course as if you were enrolled. Typically what happens is that professor takes roll. If anyone that was enrolled in the class didn't show up, that means the seat opened up, and then they typically give you a permission number to join that course. And with that permission number, that's your seat into that section. The tricky part with waitlisting is we can't guarantee that you will be admitted into the course, even if you're position 1. I've seen students be position 10 and get a seat. I've seen students be position 1 and not get a seat. So you do have to be mindful of that as well. That's where we say backup courses are really important in case you don't get into the ones that you're waitlisted for. And then again, at the act drop period, it's the first 2 weeks of school. So on January 20th to the 23rd, the first week of school, if a class happens to show as green with the circle open, you can enroll the first week of class right away. You don't have to ask permission or anything. You were just enrolled. However, after the first week of school, the second week of school, even if the class shows as open, you now need a permission number to enroll. And that would mean you need to speak with the faculty and ask for a permission number to be able to join their section. All right. And then what if,
I'm sorry, Liz. It looks like we're running towards the end of our presentation here.
Okay.
So I think we're just gonna go ahead and I think the last few slides were about the degree planner and some nuances that were in there. I'm sorry. Hello.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can scan this QR code. I believe it sends you back to our advising website. And then we're also on Instagram and Facebook.
Please attend a drop-in as an advising session the first 2 weeks of school if you need to connect with us. And then again, check your email to see if you have any notifications from advising. Come connect with us. Come to a drop-in if it's team in person or via phone so that we can assist you if you have any questions. All right.
Thank you, ladies, so much. Other rooms have started joining us, so we really appreciate all that you do. I did want to ask a really quick question, especially for the students that are on their way back to this session. How can a student, I know you briefly went over it on the ARR, how can a student confirm that their classes have been transferred? I know you mentioned, Lisbeth, like the green checkbox. So if a student doesn't see that green check mark, what should they do in that case?
So if you are a transfer student and you see something marked as not completed and you feel that you have taken the equivalent course through your community college or another for your institution, connect with advising. Sometimes it could be that there's no direct articulation between community colleges or universities. That would require the department to review the course that you took to see if it could be matched as equivalent through CSUSM. That would be through a course substitution form that you can submit, but advising can help you identify if that's the case, and then you can start the process from there.
Okay, my other question was if a student just wants to know what their next classes are, like I haven't signed up for classes, but I want to know what to sign up for this spring. That's in the degree planner, is that correct?
Yes, your degree planner will tell you what to enroll in for the spring. If for whatever reason there's like almost all of your courses are full, you could rearrange your degree planner. The enrollment tutorial will show you how to. If you're still running into issues, you would want to come to a drop-in advising session. I know anyone who hasn't enrolled into any classes as of right now, you should have a notification via your email on how to connect with advising, hopefully today.
Okay.
So again, please make sure you check the email. It's really, really important to keep.
That was my next question. So if a student hasn't signed up for any classes, you did show a slide about like there are upper division GEs that they need to take and the diversity and equity classes that they should certainly jump on. So, and then of course, reach out to academic advising, but check your emails to make sure they can connect with academic
Yes.
advising. But I also know academic advising is really busy right now. So
Yes, but if anyone has 0 courses enrolled, you should have a notification on your student email on how to connect with advising. You would want to check that like right after your orientation ends, so you can connect with advising hopefully by the end of the day to get assistance to hopefully help you find courses by the for the spring semester. So
That's
check your
awesome.
emails.
Well, thank you, academic advisors, for all your expertise in helping our students make it to the finish line. They're already here for their next 2 years. So thank you for your time and sharing your resources. I'm going to jump back into presenting the last few slides before we make it to the 11:30 breakout session. So let me run through these quick slides for y'all.
Yeah, everybody. Thank you for having.
Okay, you should all see the breakout sessions that will be happening shortly. If you have additional comments, questions, or want to connect with these offices, they'll be here at 11:30, which is in a couple minutes. Okay, come on, let's keep clicking. A little click happy. What's going on over here? Come on. Okay, final reminders. You have a transcript deadline that is today, so make sure your transcripts are in. Tuition deadline and for tuition and fees deadline has already come and gone, so that was January 13th. There are payment plans available. Please, please, please download your MyCSUSM app so you can get your campus ID. The app does all things, all kinds of things, like you can check, like if you need support for walking to your car at night, and if you're at a late night class and you need a university police department, you can actually summon an escort through that app. So that app does a lot. So by all means, it is really, really important for you all to download the CSUSM app onto your phone. It also houses your digital ID. And when you do that, make sure that there's some some contact information in that emergency contact information section. Go to orientation as part 2. That's why it says go to part 2 orientation. That's due January 20th. It's a series of online modules. You could take it at your own pace. I think it's a total of an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. So by all means, do it at your own pace and get that done. We can't get better unless you tell us. So by all means, this is our evaluation survey. It will also be sent to you in an email. So we really, really appreciate your attention and appreciate your support in helping us get better with our orientations. These are those breakout sessions that will be happening now. There will be breakout rooms that will be opening up, and it's a choose your own adventure. You could pop in and out of these breakout rooms. We're here to assist. This main room will stay open if you just want to hang out or ask us specific questions. But if you want to visit these specific resources, you pay tuition and fees. It really, really trips me out that I work graduation and that your final day, you're about to walk across the stage and you're like, our volunteers are helping you look all beautiful, zhuzhing up your caps and outfits and making sure your stoles and cords look pretty for that photo. And some students are like, hey, what office do you work in? And then that professional staff will say, I work in this office. And then it really pains me to hear a student say, I wish I would have known that was a resource. And then when I hear it, I'm like, that cost $2,000. I'm really sorry you found this out on the day you graduated. But there are a lot of fees and resources that you all pay for services. So check them out. You got tuition and fees. Some of these folks will be here for these breakout sessions. So hop in your breakout rooms. We'll stay here for the next 29 minutes in the general room, but choose your own adventure. If you don't want to go on any of these ventures and don't want to stay behind and ask us questions, by all means, you're welcome to leave, but don't be that student at graduation saying, I didn't know I had this resource, because we have your names. This is an online presentation and we're tracking y'all. We've got it all. I better stop recording now, huh? Thanks for being here.